Hello, everybody! My name is Dizzy, and welcome back to part 2 of having a look at some of the Final Fantasy decks upcoming for Magic the Gathering. They're going to be dropping real soon, because they're going to be dropping in June sometime, maybe halfway through June-ish, maybe slightly before then. But the deck lists are announced, and I have gathered the nerdiest, Final Fantasyist, playeriest people that I know, which is Shaka and Hex. And we're going to be taking a look at these decks because I know nothing about Final Fantasy, but I do love my Magic. And honestly, the hype is infectious, if nothing else. I am going to make sure that I put on some background music for y'all to hear. Let me wait till that comes up, and I'll ask you make sure to check that the music volume is good. That you can hear me. That you can hear it. Well, it's already looking a little quiet. This is. Hang on. I'm going to skip to the middle of a track. How's that for music volume? Is that too loud? Too quiet? How we thinking about that? Welcome in, Kingo, in the chat. Welcome on in to all the other little chatters there. I'm gonna fire up the old shared chat. There we go. Shared chat started. And I'm gonna wander off. Could maybe be raised, but safer it is. I think that'll do if it's safer it is. This is also one of the quieter tracks, I think. I'll set that back to the beginning. There we go. And I'll go on deafen in chat, and we'll see if we can hear some lovely individuals. Hello, do we have some lovely individuals? No, we don't. No Hex and a Shaka.
Oh, I am here.
Hello,
I
welcome.
am here.
Welcome.
Hello.
How's it going?
No. Yes. Hello. I am here. I was looking at bugs.
Ah, excellent. Yeah, we've got 4 decks laid out in front of us. Two of them we've looked at. Hey, Shaka, welcome on in.
Hello. I was just discussing the fact that my cats murdered people this morning.
Oh, they did. They did very well.
Yeah, I was saying that at one point I got to a point where I could just get rid of one person a turn, and then I was going to do that, and then you made me realize Max, and I got rid of 2 people in one turn. Yeah. So.
You did good.
I did good. Yeah.
Hey to Skitchy Short in the chat. Hey to Artie over in Shaka's chat as well. Welcome. I say welcome.
Squishy Short
been there for a while.
is in my chat, which is new. Maybe also in your chat. I don't know.
But yeah, so last time we had a look at these 2 decks. We looked at the Final Fantasy VI deck and the 14 deck. And I think our collective summary was 14 deck is great for 14 lore, but maybe not so wonderful as a deck.
Yeah.
And we were sort of tentatively excited about Final Fantasy VI, but none of us are Final Fantasy VI big knowers.
Yeah. I'm excited about the deck itself. I like it.
It looks like it'll be fun.
Yes. Yeah. But today we have lined up. We have Final Fantasy VII, headed up by Cloud X Soldier, and then we're going to be taking a look at Final Fantasy X, headed up by Tidus, Eunice Gunn.
Yes.
Very excited to see the 10 one because it has a 6 mana infinite win the game, which is a bit spicy for a Precon.
Oh, that is quite spicy.
Like no one's getting out in turn 3, but like spicy.
But yeah. Shall we dive in?
Yeah, let's dive in. So the 7 deck, I've pulled out the commander and the alternate commander. So the main commander is Cloud X Soldier. He is a 5-cost Naya. He has haste. When he enters, attach up to 1 target equipment you control to it. And when he attacks, you draw a card for each equipped attacking creature you control. And then if he has power 7 or greater, you make 2 treasure tokens. So I'm looking at this straight away, and obviously this is going to be an equipment deck. Equipment decks they're a bit sort of swinging. At lower power levels, they can really kind of outperform, and at higher power levels, they tend to flounder a little bit, as do a lot of commander damage sort of base decks in general. You know, the automatically snapping on a piece of equipment is really nice. It's on enters, so you won't get it tremendously often, and you won't be able to snap on. You won't be able to reliably snap on like lots of pieces of expensive equipment. He draws cards, but he draws cards on attack, so you do have to swing with him. But you've got equipment baked in anyway, so he's probably alright to swing most of the time. And then he makes you mana if he's a bit buffed.
Yeah.
7, I think, probably shouldn't be too difficult to get with some equipment, but it's more than like a Sword of X and Y. So it'll be 2 equipments or 1 equipment with a bigger power buff that might be sort of less good in terms of its actual abilities to get into that 7 level.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess the 7 is playing on the fact that it comes from he's coming from Final Fantasy VII,
Yes.
So it makes sense.
You were talking. There's another Final Fantasy VII card that has a lot of 7s. You were telling me about this.
Yes, so it's not in this deck. It's released as part of the set, but it's the Ultima weapon, which is a weapon that is in most Final Fantasy games and also every Kingdom Hearts game. Basically, Ultima weapon, ultimate. It's one of the best things in the game. So in Final Fantasy VII, there is a fun little thing that if you or anyone else that can attack do damage has exactly 7,777 life, you deal 7,777 damage, which is a lot of damage. But the card is the Ultima weapon. It costs 7 mana to cast, it costs 7 to equip, it gives you +7/+7, so it has the 4 7s in it, which is a fun little Easter egg.
Yes, I'm not super duper fussed by it. I don't think there's many decks that I would include Ultima Weapon in. I don't think I'd necessarily include it in this deck because Cloud only snaps on 1 weapon when he enters. Mm-hmm. You can't have very many expensive equip costs. And I'm sure there's at least 1 other equipment that already does that on attack, destroy something anyway. I'll have to have
Hear
a quick
me
look
out.
at this.
What you snap on him is Helm of the Host. And then every combat you get a new Cloud to snap something on for free.
That's true, but you can't rely on always having specifically that.
You cannot.
Very fair. Squishy has made a very good point that they've announced his Buster Sword as a card, which gives +3/+2, getting to 7 immediately. So give him his own sword, and he gets the correct damage power.
Is that from the deck or is that from the set?
That's a good question.
But yeah, so for comparison, there's an existing card, Argentum Armor, which is a 6 cost, equip 6. Whenever equipped creature attacks destroy target permanent, an equipped creature gets +6/+6. I think I would choose that over the Ultima weapon in basically every case. Like, it's 1 less power, but it's destroy a permanent instead of a creature, and it costs effectively sort of 2 mana less.
Yeah.
I definitely rate that over the Ultima Weapon. I don't think the Ultima Weapon is gonna see enormously wide play, but it's nice that it has sort of the little referencey things on it.
Yeah, I agree, but I just the flavor of it is really nice to me because, like, as I said, Ultima Weapon shows up everywhere in Final Fantasy. Yes. It's fun that they chose, because Cloud is so equipment based, it's fun that they chose 7 for it. They could have chosen almost any game.
It looks a lot less sentient than the Ultima weapon we have in 14.
I mean, like, to be fair, as I said, there's the Ultima weapon in Kingdom Hearts, and it's more like a key than anything else, because it's based on the Keyblade. So, yeah. Funny you should say that, King Girl, about one of those untap attackers and do a second combat. If we have a look at Tifa... She does things like that.
So she's a 4 cost 4/4 with melee. Whenever she attacks, it gets +1/+1 for each opponent you attack. So this is a multiplayer designed mechanic. Whenever 1 or more creatures you control with power 7 or greater deal combat damage to a player, untap all creatures you control, So you untap them regardless, whether it's the first combat or not, which is interesting. And then, if it's the first combat phase, you get an additional combat phase. So that's...
Now, there's been interesting things said about this card, because it's whenever one or more creatures you control power 7 or greater deals combat damage, but it's to a player.
Yes.
You could be doing that to 3 players.
Yes, you absolutely could. Well, yeah. So if on your first combat you swing out in 3 directions with 3 7 power creatures and connect on each of those, yeah, that's 3 extra combats. Although I guess that's 3 extra combats, but you only get the untap right now. So you have to find different ways of untapping them, or they'd have to connect again to get the second or the subsequent untap triggers from Tifa.
Yeah. So Tifa is Cloud's childhood friend. She's just really cool. I hate the way they've portrayed Tifa in Kingdom Hearts, honestly. I don't know enough about 7 to know if she is this way in 7, but in Kingdom Hearts she's kind of like just always looking for Cloud and seems like she's just a little fangirl rather than anything else, and it's always kind of annoyed me. But I don't know if she's like that at all in 7, so I mean, maybe it's true to character, maybe it's not.
I will say, as an actual commander, I don't really rate Tifa at all. Like, I don't think she has the ability that I am desperate to have on a commander. You have to jump through sort of a fair few number of hoops. You have to be connecting, and you have to have a power 7 or greater creature. Like, the value she gives is that she can give you extra combats, but there's lots of ways of getting extra combats. And it's not something you necessarily need, like, all through the game. You know, someone like Cloud X Soldier, who is drawing you cards and making you mana, that is useful all through the game.
Yeah.
Tifa, like, it's a lot of hoops to jump through. You only are really going to get her effect as, like, a sort of a finisher, basically. Most of the time. So she's not that useful to have in the command zone.
No, that's fair.
I really enjoy her as a secondary commander, though, not because of anything other than how well the vibes go together. Like, I know very, very little about 7, except the childhood friend thing. I enjoy that it's power 7 because it's Final Fantasy 7, and I enjoy it because you want Cloud to be power 7. From a flavor point of view, it does feel like they're friends.
Yes, there's obvious
really
synergies between the two, and it's obvious why she's in his deck.
Yeah.
But I don't think I'd ever take this deck. I mean, again, I haven't seen the rest of the deck, but I don't think I'd ever take this deck and put her as the commander of it. You know, for a deck with her, I think I'd just stuff it with, like, Galters and, like, big trample creatures, rather than equipment per se.
That's fair. I know there are multiple Cloud cards that have been announced. I do like that for the commander deck they've gone with Cloud X Soldier. When he's first introduced in 7, he's not given a name at first. He's just called X Soldier. And because he was, like, as you can see, soldiers in capitals. It's not that he is an ex-soldier. He is like an ex-operative, or at least he thinks he's an ex-operative of a group called Soldier. At least like a big main one. But yeah, he's cool. I like him.
Shall we start having a look at some of the cards? We pulled out the cards by card type.
Yes. Well, we did same as last time, really. So we were looking at lands first before, weren't we?
Yes, and so we have a 12 planes. I mean, we commented on how unusual it is that the Precons, it looks like they're coming out with full art lands.
Yes.
I mean, I love full art lands, but I'm just very surprised by it.
They're very, very pretty.
We have a Final Fantasy VI mountain, and then we have a Final Fantasy IX forest. So none of these are Final Fantasy VII.
No.
Lands. We have a Spire of Industry. So Shaka, you should go through these, Shaka, because you might recognize the places involved.
Oh, I don't think I'll recognize the places. I know I might recognize Midgar. Like, I really think it'll be Squishy that goes, that's a place. Like, I don't even recognize this as Midgar. So there we go. You know, and like, I know Story more than anything else. So, I might not be the best on this. Oh hey, I've cleaned a model of that in Power Sim.
Oh yeah, I
Amazing.
forgot that there were the Final Fantasy Power Sim levels.
Oh, maybe we should do that at some
Maybe we
point.
should have done that on Friday.
Well, whenever I asked how close we were to the end the other day, of the end of Korea, Artie said yes. So, I don't know how much more we have left. So
Yeah,
if we,
fair.
if we have time next time, we could get going. Although we don't have co-op next Friday.
We don't have co-op next Friday.
Unless you want, we can do co-op at some point during that stream.
I mean,
Anyway,
I don't know
digress.
what your plans are. We can work out plans another time, perhaps.
Yeah, well, that's why I said we'll move on. But yes, we have Spire of Industry. You can add colorless. You can pay 1 life and tap it to add a mana of any color.
I will confess,
Activate only if you control an
never...
artifact.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I never really like lands that cost you life to tap for. Having the alternate colorless tap for colorless is fine in my book. This is one of those cards that people who are better at Magic than me probably love a lot more than me, and I'm just like, I don't want to be paying life all the time.
This next one is Sun Tunnel Grove, and it's from 10. Which it's very pretty. It's I can't remember the name of the exact place, but it's this is as far as I'm aware, the road down to where you can do your races on your chocobos, and oh my god, that it infuriated me. But I did it, and it was great. It was great. So you've got a little flavor text from Yuna. I love Yuna. She's amazing and sweet and lovely. Moving on. I picked up the whole thing. Anyway,
So another filter land. I love that these decks have the filter lands in. I know I said this
they
last
do.
time.
Yeah, it's very enjoyable. This is very pretty, squishy. Where? It could be it could wall market, I assume.
Yes, presumably.
From what it's saying. That's also in Midgar. Okay.
I think Squishy's just gonna say Midgar to every land.
Midgar. It's all Midgar. It's all Midgar, even if it's not. When Trance enters, put 1 slime counter onto target streamer.
Welcome on in, Transrights. Thank you so much for the gift. I guess I will not be doing any tabletopping for a sec while I get some stuff.
That's
on my
fine.
hands.
I will keep the ones that are not from 7 separate, so we'll have pretty lands out. So that's that. This one is from 6. It's a Sacred Peaks. You add red or white. It enters tapped. Does what it wants.
So the previous...
all of disc 1 of the original 7 was in Midgard. That is true. And there were 3 discs. It was a big game for a PlayStation 1.
The previous decks, the last 2, they had a bunch of the dual lands that either had basic land types or cared about basic lands and basic land types. So I'm interested to see if this does the same thing.
Yeah, that's fair. So yeah, this is from 6.
But they moisturize me.
Oh, look at the chocobos! I love this. This is so pretty. Yeah, you can as far as I'm aware, you can raise a chocobo in 7. So flavor text with things the way they are now. How about raising a chocobo? You've got you can get it's yeah.
I like that the guy presumably in charge of the chocobo is just called Chocobo Bill.
Chocobo Bill, yeah, that's where you get your first chocobo. They're good boys.
Imagine if you were horse shack.
If I was horse shaka?
Yeah, the same way he's Chocobo Bill. Your horse shack.
Oh right, okay, right. Just my name is Horse Shaka. Yeah.
Okay, this is another cares about basics.
Yeah. It is from 7. It's pretty. Until after their big streams, they talk about Horse Shaka. Oh my god. Oh, King Girl. Oh, King Girl. Another filter land. Rugged Prairie. Very nice.
So
We do seem to have a few of them.
what is the story of Seven and its 3 discs?
So 7. You have Cloud. He is an ex-soldier. He's hired by the eco-terrorist group Avalanche to try and fight off the Shinra company. And Cloud says he was like a high up person in Soldier, but then like you'll find out later that his memory's all a bit messed up, and he has memories of this guy Zack, who we'll see in a minute because Zack is the first creature we'll come to, and he was experimented on with like to do with like an extraterrestrial creature, and that's Sephiroth's mother, and it's all just a bit wild. I can't really explain it in a full sensical way because I've not played it myself, so I'm just pulling out bits and pieces of things I know. That's basically my understanding.
Final Fantasy, so often the unexpected answer is aliens.
Yeah. The unexpected answer is aliens. It's not in 10, but yeah, there is an extraterrestrial creature in 7, who is basically Sephiroth's mother. And yeah, his father like did experiments on Cloud and Zack, and then Cloud's memory erased Zack completely, and he took on parts of Zack's past and thought that was his, but he was actually like just a low-ranking little boy and not a high-ranking boy, and it's all very higgledy-piggledy.
What is the big gun on this Battlefield Forge?
Yeah, beats me.
Fair.
Like I told you, I have some info on this, as in more than 6 and 14. It's not much still.
I'm gonna bet Midgard.
So this is the Sunscorched Divide from 6. So the land base for this is so far looking quite a lot like the land base for the other 2. Like we've got the filters, we've got some of
Not
these...
Midgar.
Not Midgar.
The ballista is not from the big gun is not from Midgar.
That's the joke, Wrath. It's fairly obviously not in the city. But I thought that was the joke. It's not very funny if you have to explain it.
I mean, I didn't get the joke because I don't really know what a Midgar is.
Oh dear.
It's in Junon.
This is pretty. I like this. This in
There seems
Mossfire
to be
Valley.
a rocket ship sticking out of this small rustic
There does
town.
seem to be a mossy rocket ship. Yes.
Aliens.
Aliens.
We've had a few different universes beyond Mossfire Valleys, I think, and they've all looked nice.
Use the big gun to try and kill the diamond weapon. Ah, yes. I vaguely remember that. I really want to play 7. 7 is on my list of games to play soon, as in the original 7. So I'm gonna play that on stream soon, I think. Because I've been meaning to for a long time. And Final Fantasy games were on sale, and I got 7 on Steam for like £5.
Very nice.
So I imagine it's not very expensive anyway, because it is the original one. Like, but because it like remix the big one right now. So
One of the things I'm noticing, so this has the flavor text by Sid. Almost all of these lands have flavor text on them, which I guess is really nice. And maybe that's a thing that they're doing more for the Universes Beyond now, with the land sort of representing stuff from the games. 'Cause a lot of the time in like the Doctor Who, I would have much preferred to know, that stuff like the basic lands. Like I don't really recognize where they are. I don't even know if they are supposed to represent actual scenes from Doctor Who or just generic. We've put the TARDIS in location.
Yeah, fair.
So
I will get through Spiral.
It's nice to see that these all have like context given to them.
Yeah. So yeah, Chris saying we love Final Fantasy VII Sid. So like yeah, there's a Sid. There's a different Sid in like every Final Fantasy game. There's always a Sid. As far as I'm aware, I think it's the Sid from 7 that's in Kingdom Hearts. I'm not sure. Apart from one, yes. Apart from one, there's a sit in every game. He might be from 6 though. I just know that a decent chunk of characters that are in Kingdom Hearts from Final Fantasy are from 7. A decent chunk, because we have Cloud, we have Tifa, we have Aerith, we have Yuffie, Sephiroth. They all make an appearance.
So this is Scavenger Grounds again, which I thought was an odd include the last time we saw it with these, because it wants you to sacrifice a desert, and it was the only desert in that last deck. I'm assuming it's going to be the only desert in this deck again. But it's nice to have some land stacked graveyard hate. So.
To be fair, I think of the decks I run that in, and I run nearly all of them just with Scavenger Grounds, because it's just an exile all the graveyards rather than obviously that's not the ideal way to use it. Yeah. But it sits colorless unless you need it to do something else. So I'm not sure I would put it in a 3-color deck for that reason.
Yeah, it's always difficult to make room for a colorless utility land in a 3-color deck.
Yeah.
Like, I tend to find room for, like, 1 or 2. Normally that's Rogue's Passage and Reliquary Tower, and then maybe sometimes Access, depending on the deck in particular. But
those are arguably both a lot more helpful than a Scavenger Grounds.
Yes, Scavenger Grounds is quite situational, whereas those two, like, you're pretty much always going to have a useful one. Reliquary Tower allow you to keep some card advantage. Rogue's Passage will let you get off your attack triggers or just kill some people if you need to.
There better be a Rogue's Passage in here, actually, considering all the gimmicks.
You'd hope
Yeah,
so.
That's fair. We'll see. We've got a command tower. It's the command tower from 14. I'm actually gonna have
I'll have a look, see if the
because
7
obviously like the Soul Ring and stuff like that are different. Command tower. Why aren't they in alphabetical order?
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
Yes, it is different on the Magic website. There is one from 7.
Yes, so we've got it's a sort of industrially, sort of all spotlights, underlit sort of tower thing. Oops.
Yeah.
That's something zoomed in. It's not the prettiest command tower. It's not one I sort of look for to play outside of this deck.
Yeah, so I'll try and get zoomy in. But yeah, it's nice that they've so many different arts in this.
Yeah. The
command tower is Midgar. Yes, I did think it was, because it was very similar to a card we had the first card we had. So that makes sense.
This one that we are seeing, the Final Fantasy 14 one, that's among the prettier command towers throughout.
It's so pretty. That's Shinra HQ. Okay, that makes sense that it's command tower then. Okay.
And this is Grahatia HQ.
Yeah.
That's a lovely jungle
shrine. This is the Temple of Ancients. Aerith tells us in the flavor text. Oh, Aerith. Sweet Aerith. So, yeah, Jungle Shrine.
Now, normally the...
all 3 of your colors.
Normally the Precons often have temple lands in them. One of the best sources of temple lands, I think.
Yeah.
I can't remember if the previous 2 did.
Me either.
Brushland, that's you, it's from Final Fantasy X. Is this where you actually do that chocobo race?
This is where you do the chocobo racing,
There's 2 chocobos like in the background of the picture.
Yes, there are 2 chocobos in the background. This like open worldy bit of the game is one of the most annoying layouts ever, because like your characters can't like jump or walk off ledges or anything like that. And that's fine, it's not a game that needs that. But why are these ledges there? You cannot. You walk up to them and they're a little die. That was one of the most annoying things on a map ever. I'm just like, it's a big, flat, it's a mostly flat area with just these little tiny ridges. Can I walk off the ridges? No. I have to walk around. So that's my only complaint. But yes, there are chocobos in the background, and I love them, and they're sweet and lovely and the best.
You spent a while on that minigame, didn't you?
Yes, because I wanted a specific thing, and I can't remember what the thing was, but I did the thing. So.
Yes.
Too much blitzball gave everybody bad knees, and now they can't take little steppies over things.
Yes, exactly. Oh my god, there's gonna be blitzball. There's gonna be blitzball. I'm so excited for blitzball.
Uh-huh.
I was bad at blitzball, but I enjoyed the concept of blitzball. So, that's coming up later.
Slayer Stronghold. I love this land. This land is in at least 2 of my deck lists. Because I love Vigilance. Vigilance is just really good.
Yeah. And, you know, target creature getting +2/+0, like, upping your power for Cloud, very helpful.
Yeah, it puts Tifa into her range for the thing, even if you don't swing at more than one person. Because with the melee,
yeah, exactly.
You'll get her. Cloud sadly still needs an equipment.
Yes, but he should hopefully have one all the time. Yeah, we've got flavor text from President Shinra. Bad man. That one's Avalanche HQ. That's interesting that one's Avalanche HQ whenever they're giving the flavor text from President Shinra.
I suppose it's because they're talking about Avalanche.
Yeah. Oh, this is pretty. Hello, Shaskor.
Welcome on in, Sassy.
This here's me deal. So not midcar. It's a Canopy Vista. It's nice.
It's a retirement
tapped
village.
Unless you control 2 or more basic lands. It helped me today. It's Norwegian Independence Day.
Oh, congrats!
Happy Norwegian Independence Day to you.
A fun one.
Yes, I like a Canopy Vista. It's helpful.
The flavor text makes me feel like something horrendous probably happened there after you go there and you meet all the old people happily living out their retirement, and then Shinra comes and destroys everything. Does it not feel like that kind of a lovely afterwards?
Too happy and nice. Yeah.
In other games, I wouldn't be sussy of that, but I know some plenty of bad stuff does happen in Final Fantasy, so
yeah.
Hush, about spoilers.
I don't think so. I might be playing it soon, but also like I have the memory of like a Civ, so I don't think it'll be. And I know some things about it anyway. So unless these two are worried about spoilers or chat's worried about spoilers, I'm fine with you doing spoilers. Also, the games have been out years. Like I appreciate people being like, is it okay? But like, yeah. It's like when people get mad about getting spoilers about movies that are years and years old, and I'm just like, it's been out for years. You're bound to come across something.
I'm interested to see, not this path of ancestry, but I'll be interested to see if there's a 10 path of ancestry, because I'm assuming that's going to be the pass through the mountains up into that place where everyone is like dead in the summon.
Yes, one would assume. There's an earthquake, I think it is, and it's destroyed. Oh, jeez.
I knew it!
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, okay,
I'm pretty sure in the Path of Ancestry that is Red 13, is the red cat that's there. They're pretty cool.
These Red 13, the numbering suggests that are they part of an organization? Are they part of Soldier or Shinra or Avalanche or whatever?
As far as I'm aware, they're like one of the playable characters, like whenever you're in fights. So like they're on your side. And I think he did try to destroy, like he led an attack on Shinra before, I think. And I think Nomura gave him the number 13 because he wanted something to do with like unluckiness with him, and then just went with red as the color that he was. He's like he's unlucky number. Like that's where the concept came from. But
that was his designation as a
in the
research
game, that was his
subject.
designation. But yeah, that's where the concept came from with Nomura.
I remember seeing some hilarious footage from the remakes of Red Riding Chocobos, is my only knowledge of Red. And he sat up like a person on the Chocobos.
He's got a little Charmander-like flame on his tail,
Mm-hmm.
which I noticed in the art.
He's a good boy. Oh, this is from 10. This is from 10. This is Guaro Salam. Where we meet Seymour and Tromel, and we still think they're good guys. Even though like it's very clear to the players that they're not good people. But it's a very pretty place. I like it.
I also love Exotic Orchard in 3-color decks. I think it's a really good include in 3-color decks because you've got 3 other people. The chances are at least one of them is going to overlap with at least one color that you want. So I think it's a really good land. This is just another basic land types land.
Yep. I do like the flavor text it's given because Eric's just telling Cloud that he's weak, but in a jokey, fun way. She's smart. I like her. She's sad.
Well, they stab at the snake.
They stab at the snake.
It only got the scale of that snake, actually. That's
maybe Sephiroth did it because Cloud says, "Did Sephiroth do this?"
Why would he do
Sephiroth's
such
bad boy?
thing? I mean,
because he's evil. Why is it sad? Seems like Aerith is a lovely person. She is. Yep.
This is a casino.
Sad things happen to Aerith.
Gold Saucer.
Yes, it's the Gold Sorcerer. There's gambling. There's chocobo races. There's fun times to be had.
Lord of Verminion.
Is this like the most modern Final Fantasy? Because everything here has seen, like, some bits of 6 have seemed quite diesel punk. A lot of the stuff that I've seen so far, like the city, seems sort of firmly like mid-20th century. How they look.
I mean, maybe. I don't know that I've seen enough other Final Fantasies to say. Because like there's some that are futuristic.
Okay.
I know some people I think have an idea of Final Fantasy with a theme, and it's like there's so many of them that like some of them are way off what people think they are.
I mean, I remember when you first sort of were playing 10, I was surprised even by the inclusion of like firearms and stuff.
Yeah, the Machina. Yeah. 15's premise is that it's like bro road trip across the states. Fair.
Oh, well, this is an interesting art. This almost looks like it's in photo negative on the art.
This is from 10.
Yeah.
I'm unsure about this. I guess it's near the end. It's near the end whenever you're stuff to do with aliens and stuff, because like the world is ending and there's a big platform. It might be where you meet Unalesca. Taken form of dead personal illusion, nothing else. Yeah, like when you're seeing all the faith. Have I seen the traveling chocobo art yet? The neon ones. Hello, lols. Are you talking about the neon ones? I think that's the traveling chocobo. If so, yes, I've seen them. I'm obsessed. I love them. Gunblades are a whole thing. In fact, yes, they are. Yeah, Radiant Grove. It's a nice little land.
I'll for the purposes of my stream, I'll just bring up some of the traveling chocobo arts. There's like different color versions, which look very pretty. Which color is it? It's the gold one that is the limited run.
Yes.
I just wish that instead of having the Sephiroth Star of Extinction, we'd had a red Chocobo Star of Extinction. Yeah, wouldn't that have been perfect?
Yeah.
Would it?
Who needs Sephiroth? They specialize in big explosions and calling down meteors and things. At least in 14 they do. So it would have been quite funny.
That is not what I expected Chocobos to specialize in.
They don't usually, but I think 14 like subverts a lot of things.
We've got one
Sometimes.
imposture that's an engagement, and it's brutal.
A sketchy bridge to a cleft-top retreat.
Yes. Our mission is to survey a rundown reactor from Sephiroth. Yes. I expect chocobos to specialize in being delicious. No.
Yeah, like
No.
I'd expect them to be chocolate-flavored birds and lay chocolate eggs.
Oh, that's Nibel reactor. That's I was thinking possibly based on the flavor text of whenever Sephiroth and Cloud and Zack go and do their mission and then things bad. But yeah, it's ominous. I mean, Zack gets defeated. Cloud loses
Trains!
memories.
Good trains! Oh, I love trains!
Trains!
This might need to go in the train deck as well.
I feel like I never realized how much of there's a sort of a train, not a train zone, but a zone with trains, and we have to get them all up and running again. Well, it was carts in one specific, and then trains later down the line, and I never realized how much some of that zone sort of looks like what is evidently somewhere in 7 until now.
I mean, I think 14 takes a lot from different games as well to.
Oh yes, the whole thing is a pulling from
mishmash.
everything.
Yeah.
Is there a reason why we have 2 Tifas, by the way?
No.
Someone gave her double strike.
Someone was asking about that earlier. Klaus was asking about that earlier.
Yeah. Oh,
That's a pretty Cinderglade.
Pretty Cinderglade.
I mean, I love Cinderglade anyway, but this is a pretty Cinderglade.
Yeah, this is great. This is Wutai, as far as I'm aware, where Yuffie grew up. Yuffie is amazing. I love Yuffie. She's great. Oh, King Crown. But yeah, it's very pretty.
Ash Barons. It's a common one in the Precons.
Yep. This is from 6.
And Evolving Wilds, also common in Precons.
Yes, and this is from 10.
I think this is also one of those cards that, like, people who are better than me at Magic rate things like this a lot more highly than I do. I'm just like, I understand that, like, it's a tapped land of any one color. Most of the time, I would rather have a tapped dual or tri-land.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'm most definitely not better at Magic than you, but I do run it in some 3-color things purely because it lets me choose. If I'm short on something, and I know I'm short, I can fix what I'm short on, no matter what it is.
Well, that's the thing, Squishy. Like, I maybe it's partly also because I tend to run a lot of things that have a higher average mana value than is perhaps like good deck building balance. But like, I don't always want fewer lands in my deck necessarily. Like, thinning it a bit it can be good, but it's Commander. It's a long game. You're going to want to continue drawing lands throughout the game, as well as just the lands in your own hand.
Yeah.
Unless you're playing Hashaton, in which case all you can draw is lands.
I'd rather thin my deck by drawing more cards.
Yeah. Tidying up the lands.
Like, I don't think that Evolving Wilds is particularly better than just, like, a tapped dual land with no way of coming in untapped. Unless, and there's exceptions to that, like, if you can play lands from your graveyard and stuff. Or if you otherwise want to be sacrificing permanents, doing stuff that Evolving Wilds does anyway, then yes, that's a different story. But if you're not fussed by any of that, I just don't see the point.
That's fair.
Creatures.
Okay, we have 23 creatures. This is Zack. This is Zack Fair. He enters with a +1/+1 counter on him. Oh god, his other ability. Okay, so you can pay 1 and sacrifice Zack, and target creature you control gains indestructible until end of turn. And you can put his counters on that creature and attach an equipment that was attached to him to that creature. This is interesting. This is interesting to me because so there's a whole thing with the Nibel reactor. And Cloud and Zack and Sephiroth are there, and as I said, Cloud has like forgotten things, and he's taken on some of Zack's past and forgotten Zack was a person, basically. But there's a whole mention of Cloud and Sephiroth fighting when it was Zack and Sephiroth fighting, and Zack lost and he died. And
I'm sensing that this big sword in the background of Zack is also this big sword in Cloud's art.
Yeah, I mean, it looks very similar, doesn't it? But you know, like when Cloud couldn't remember Zack, he was like, people thought that Sephiroth was dead, and Cloud was like, well, that can't be true because I would have never been a match for Sephiroth. How could I do that? Like, I couldn't have survived that, but Cloud did survive and Zack didn't. So the fact you can sacrifice Zack to make someone else indestructible is
heartbreaking, very low appropriate.
Heartbreakingly so good. So good. I love it. I think it's great.
I think this is a fine card for a 1-drop as well, like ability-wise. You know, it makes another thing stronger, and we'll save it for a turn. And may also equip things if you like happen to get down late. I think this is a fine 1-drop.
He's a good boy. Sid. So this is different to the 15 Sids that are the same card but different arts. This is different to that. This is a different Sid because those are human artificers. This is a human warrior pilot. As you can imagine, he's a pilot in it. Equipment and vehicle spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. That's nice. Jump. During your turn, Sid has flying, and they gave it a name of jump. That's fun.
I think lots of cards that represent jumping have that ability. Like your Dragoon's Hex from Final Fantasy XIV. You had a Dragoony boy in here somewhere, didn't you?
Yeah.
He also has.
Justinian had something very similar, didn't he?
And we have pay 2 and tap to return target equipment or vehicle card from your graveyard to your hand. That is nice. I like him. He's fun.
Yeah, there's lots of things that are like make equipment and vehicle cheaper. They often lump them together in Magic anyway. So I guess he has a plane and he has a spear? Question mark?
Yeah. Yeah, that's Sid.
Yeah. Repeatable recursion for equipment vehicles is pretty nice.
Yes, I like that. I like how he is technically the Final Fantasy VII Dragoon, yeah. We have a Heli Trooper. I'm not really sure what these are. I know the main things in Final Fantasy VII. He's a trooper with heli.
Yeah, he has helicopters, blades for hands. Possibly with a gun in the middle?
He's flying, and whenever he attacks, another target attacking creature gains flying until end of turn. He's a bad guy. You fight them in Midgar. Equipping abilities you activate that target this creature costs 2 less to activate. That's nice.
Yeah, solid.
Helpful.
I just think Sid is actually quite good for a 2-drop. Like
a 2-drop, yeah.
He's
the recursion.
Flying half the time, and he's a bit of RAM, specific RAM, and he's recursion, and he's a 2/2. Like that's very good value for mana.
Yeah. He's a good boy.
Suspiciously good value for mana. Whereas I think Heli Trooper is like perfect value.
Fine.
For mana.
Yeah. The pure steel
This is
paladin.
a reprint. This is a common card in equipment decks. It's nice to see it here. It's been reprinted in the Fallout decks at the very least. Before this, I mean, it's just a good card in equipment decks.
Yeah. Yeah, equipment cost is having like 0 equip as long as you control 3 or more artifacts is very helpful in this deck.
Yeah.
Professor Hojo. This is This is a big bad guy. This is Sephiroth's father.
The alien?
He's no, the alien is his mother.
Okay.
His father did like a weird fusion thing, and it created
like Steven
Sephiroth
Universe.
with the extraterrestrial creature. So, yeah, this
Okay,
is his
so this
father.
is-
He
this is
also
Greg
experimented
Universe.
on Cloud and Zack for like 4 years.
Oh, that's less good.
Yeah. But yeah, he's got the first activated ability you activate during your turn that targets a creature you control, costs 2 less to activate, and whenever one or more creatures you control become the target of an activated ability, you draw a card. Ability triggers only once each turn.
Okay. So yeah, he's pretty directly equipment support,
Mm-hmm.
which is maybe a little bit more unusual in green, but they've flavored it greenly by just targeting creatures you control. Which
Yeah.
is nice. He
Oh, sorry.
No, this is all good. He is a legendary creature, and he has a useful sort of commandery type ability, like makes things cheaper, lets you draw cards. The other legendaries we've had so far, like I don't think I'd run Sid as a commander. I definitely wouldn't run Zack as a commander.
No.
Yeah, he's definite commander material. Bugenhagen.
I do not know this man. I do not know this man.
He's the Watcher from Marvel.
Yeah, he has reach. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control a creature of power 7 or greater, draw a card. So playing into Cloud's whole thing, with the 7 or greater, and he's a mana dork. Can add 1 mana of any color.
Yep, a mana dork who also draws your cards is a good mana dork.
Yeah, for 2, like that's nice.
And Reach is I mean, you don't want to be sacking him, but
Yeah.
Reach is nice. The amount of times one of our friends has played one of their green decks and they've just been like flyed to death because there's nothing in there to chump block things with that has Reach is.
He lives in Cosmo Canyon. He knows lots about the planet and such. And the live stream. Ah, the live
Red's
stream.
grandfather, but isn't Red a cat?
Yep.
Okay.
I don't know enough about the family lineage, but adoptive.
Adoptive.
Okay, thank you. We have a Bastion Protector. Is this a reprint?
This is another reprint. So there's a Bastion Protector in Lord of the Rings, there's a Bastion Protector in Warhammer. Again, it's just a very good card for any deck that is very commander-centric. And in particular, like a Voltron style deck, this is going to want to be. Make him indestructible, give them buffs, it's going to be solid. He on his own is enough to proc Tifa, if Tifa is your commander. Yeah, no, I love Bastion Protector, it often makes my deck lists.
Live stream, isn't that what Shaka Dizzy and Hex stream? Right? No, we're doing a live stream. There's a thing called the live stream, which Sephiroth was knocked into, and that's how Clyde survived, and he was fine, but also the memory problems. Woo!
We could do a life drawing stream, you could model for us.
Sure. Yeah.
Add that to the goals for the summer typical.
I've already done that. I have to rearrange all the points. And, so awkward. Hello, big cuddle monster. Welcome in. But yeah, it's nice little reprint. There's a fly in my room again. Frodo.
It's Jodie
Wake up.
Whittaker. What's she doing here?
This is Elena. I can't remember who she works for. She's technically an antagonist, as far as I'm aware.
I mean, I'd let her beat me up. I'd lose that fight.
Fair. I mean, I can if you want, King Girl. You can volunteer if you want. Yeah, as far as I'm aware, she is an antagonist, but I'm not entirely sure much about her. The Turks, that's who she's with, and they work for Shinra. Yeah, and Shinra's big bad. So yeah, she is. It literally says in her card. I can read. When she enters, you return a target non-assassin historic card from your graveyard to your hand. and whenever you cast a historic spell, you put a +1/+1 counter on her. That's a nice little thing.
So firstly, I've got like 2 decks that she could slot straight into. But also, I think it's
Yeah,
very interesting
I'm aware
that
of one. I'm aware of the decks that she can slot into. The whole historic things in those decks you've done so well that it annoys me so much because suddenly it's just like, oh, here's an artifact, here's a legendary. Oh, look at this, everything's getting bigger, and I'm just like, stop.
I think it's interesting that they're continuing the link in this set. Like we mentioned it last time as well. They had like some assassins that care about historics, and we got another assassin that cares about historics, or maybe legendaries. It was in the last one. I can't remember. But like they're continuing that theme from the Assassin's Creed set, where this creature type is linked to historic cards.
Yeah.
But I do like that they've specifically. It has to be a non-assassin historic that you're returning.
Yes.
That is interesting. It makes sense. But it's interesting.
I like her. I like the art. She looks like she's ready to beat me up. Sure.
Oh, Professional Facebreaker. This is a reprint.
Okay.
Go on, Hex.
No, I'll just keep running the other one.
It's not my favorite art. I can't remember what the other art of this looks like. I might go and have a look at that.
She's got the gauntlets on, and she's in like the bouncer gear. It's a very nice outfit. The other one.
It's a scryful professional face for my stream to look at.
Professional face.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's a 2/3 with menace. Whenever one or more creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, you create a treasure token, and you can sacrifice a treasure to exile the top card of your library, and you may play that card this turn.
It's a solid enough card. I don't know. It's not wonderful and amazing in this deck, but like dealing combat damage to play is part of the game plan. Professional Facebreaker is kind of it's a card that you want more in like a real go wide deck, I think, because then you can get like 3 triggers of it reliably.
Yeah.
And if you just have a bunch of sort of small things, or if you are running in like an evasive deck, like I often find that like it's a bit of a win more card.
Right. Yeah.
You know, like it's making you treasures if you're already hitting people. But if you're already hitting people, you're likely to be ahead.
Yeah, that's fair.
And yeah, I agree with Hex. I like the other one more.
It's the little hat and the little. I'm such a sucker for those like outfits with straps and belts everywhere, which is potentially why we've ended up in Final Fantasy. But you know.
Yeah, I think she's better. Professional Facebreaker is much better off in a treasure deck for the second ability to turn mana into card advantage than she is in a deck like this, which is so far very treasure like.
Unless we've got something based on how many artifacts you control. Does stuff. Then having a bunch of treasure does count as having a bunch of artifacts. So if we see something like that later.
Yeah, because I mean, Cloud creates 2 treasures himself. So
That's true, I guess. Maybe I had forgotten that bit of his ability. Maybe she's
Phyrexian
slightly
Germ?
more useful.
We'll have that one in here.
So we have Avalanche of Sector 7. I assume this is the people from Avalanche of Sector 7. We've got Menace, and their power is equal to the number of artifacts your opponents control. Whenever an opponent activates an ability of an artifact they control, Avalanche Sector 7 deals 1 damage to that player. Nice little pinging. It's the Avalanche Squad, Jesse, Biggs, and Wedge. Thank you, Squishy, for your information.
So it's another card that some people will be slightly sad about for making mana rocks less good. It's fine. Like, yeah, punish your opponents for using artifacts, but it's one of those cards that is very dependent on what your opponent does.
Well, you see, unless the reason I'm looking at this and thinking Jolene is because Jolene creates treasure for everybody when they attack. So yeah.
Yeah, load your opponents up with more artifacts.
Load my opponents up with treasure.
I guess that
they don't want to use.
The problem is they then have treasure, but
yeah.
But they also don't want to use it because it's whenever an opponent activates an ability of an artifact, so like that's for every single treasure.
Yeah, every treasure they spend is a ping to them.
So that would be quite nice and Jolene. I might,
Mhm.
I would consider it.
Yeah, there's definitely situations for this card, but it's I'm not thinking this is one of them.
No.
Yuffie.
What we got
Oh,
up
so this
next?
is one of the cards that
Yuffie.
has.
This is Yuffie.
Sorry, Yuffie. This is one of the cards that has the special sheet where it's her concept art on just like a bland blank background, isn't it?
Yes, yes. So, as far as I'm aware, that's Nomura art. So Tetsu Nomura. He's a madman. He's a crazy madman. He created Kingdom Hearts. So you have to be a crazy madman to create Kingdom Hearts. But he originally started as a character artist for Final Fantasy, and yeah, the character art for got original concept for Yuffie. She's great. I love her as a character. I haven't read anything to do with her card yet. She has a ninjutsu. It's a ability for 1 and red. Return an unblocked attacker you control to hand. Put this card onto the battlefield from your hand, tapped and attacking.
I do love ninjutsu.
It's a pretty spicy ability. In some contexts, it's a very powerful ability.
When she enters, you gain control of a target non-creature artifact for as long as you control her. Then you may attach an equipment you control to Yuffie.
Yeah, okay, I think she makes sense in this deck. If an opponent has a good equipment, you can steal it, but you could just steal an artifact, and you're always going to have your own equipment to snap onto her.
Yeah, exactly. For some context, yes, give me context.
Well, while Squishy Shulk is typing out the context. Oh, you meet her when she's trying to steal. Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, she's trying to steal from the party, and you can say things in the dialogue in that to get her on your side immediately. And if you fail that, you get her later. But yeah, I love Yuffie. She's great.
So the Yuffie like concept art card, and I think to some extent all of these Final Fantasy through the ages cards, they really suffer from being mostly they're like nice art on a really horrible just single color background, and they end up looking very ugly as cards.
I think that's fair, but as both a Final Fantasy fan and a little like game development nerd, I think it's nice to not have loads of things going on in the background of proper concept art. I like it.
I would like just sort of a less like this is a particularly ugly color on Yuffie's card and thing. I would just like something that's just a little softer on the eye. And somebody in the Discord, I can't remember who or which Discord, made a point that the actual Final Fantasy card game, or maybe digital card game, also has cards that use the concept art. And by adding just sort of like a very gentle, soft background, have made it look not awful.
Fair.
Try
and...
I think that is just a big missed opportunity. I might go and see if I can find out in particular what the cards in question were, but as I don't really know the Final Fantasy TCG, I don't think I'm going to have much luck.
Yeah, that's fair.
With that is I've been running this version of Shirei because I like the solid green background.
And
I came out to have a good time, and
I'm honestly feeling so attacked right now.
I hear what you're saying.
I found the cards.
I don't hate it that much.
I found the cards of the folks who are on my stream. Like, so this is Yuffie in her magic card, and it's just on a kind of an ugly background. And on her Final Fantasy TCG card, which is what I assume this is, like, they haven't done much to the background. They've just given it sort of a little bit of a texture, and they've given the concept art maybe a little bit of a shadow as well onto that texture. And it looks so much better that just for doing a simple thing of making the background nicer, it's so much less of an eyesore. And like, Wizards couldn't be bothered to do that. Yeah, I think you're mad, but I guess it takes all sorts to make a world.
where people are allowed to have different preferences on things, especially things to do with art.
Yes, definitely.
Like, art is very subjective.
Yeah. But her particular art here, like, I have other, I guess, slight issues with her particular art, but like, that's nothing that Wizards can change. That's nothing that anyone can change now. I do think it's interesting that both versions of Yuffie, sorry, I keep calling it Yuffie by mistake. Both versions of Yuffie have ninjutsu. Because through the Ages version of her is a reskin of Yuriko the Tiger's Shadow. And that is the strongest ninjutsu. Card. That's, I guess, maybe that's why a little bit I think of ninjutsu as a controversial, very strong mechanic, because of I'm thinking specifically Commander Ninjutsu.
Yeah.
I run a ninjutsu deck with the whale wolf that he's just an unblockable whale wolf situation, and it's blue-black. And it's so long as you don't have that one specific ninja commander, it is a wonderful time. It's just when he's in there, the command zone ninjutsu is a lot.
Yeah, it's particularly rough because it gets around command attacks.
Yeah.
I do notice they were restrained and they didn't give this Yuffie Commander Ninjutsu, even though she is obviously a legendary creature, she still just has regular ninjutsu, so they obviously kind of realised their mistake. Yeah, it is a fun ability. And this looks like a fun card.
Yeah,
and I love this art as well. In particular, this is a really nice looking art. Her big, strange, giant shuriken weapon is very interesting to me. That feels very Final Fantasy in flavor. Like, take normal weapon, make it impractically big. You have Final Fantasy.
And slap some materia in it. She's got some materia in there.
He has got some materia there.
Green. I don't know what materia those will be in 7.
So what is materia? Obviously, it's the orbs she's getting. I'm assuming they're like the spheres from Final Fantasy X.
Oh, the spheres from Final Fantasy X are to do with the Aeons and things. As far as I'm aware, they're not anywhere the same as materia. I don't really know much as materia because it's in 7. And I think it's in other games, but it's not really in 10 at all. So I couldn't.
I don't know like the lore behind it. I know that in 14 and also in 7, I think you slap it onto your weapons to make them do more things.
I meant more sort of like they're glowy orbs that you have to find the power-ups. Or
basically,
in lore their power-ups. That's why I meant.
But you've only got so many slots, so you've got to pick and choose what you want versus what you don't want.
Yes. I have cats screaming downstairs. So may we have a little break?
Yeah, it's a good time.
While I go and feed the children, because they will just get worse, and they will come on stream and be loud and yelly and naughty. So be back soon.
Yep, be back soon.
See you in a bit.
I'll pop up a little transitioning screen. Go deafen myself.
I'm gonna go and grab some water. I'm going to be sensible.
But yeah, chat. Go grab your own fluids and foods and such things if you need them, and be back in a little bit. Hello there, chat. I am back. I hope y'all are doing well. I've grabbed a little bit of food, and to my surprise, I seem to be the first one back, possibly. Yeah, we'll be. Oh, I need to catch my breath for a sec, because I was hustling up the stairs to not be back last. Oh, give me a sec. Whew. Yeah, I hope you had a nice break. I hope you have refreshed all what needs refreshing. And I'll do a little undeafen now. Hello there, Hexy, you here? Not Hexy, that's a person in chat, but Hex. I see a Hex finger moving on the screen. Let me put cards back.
I was muted. Hello.
Welcome back. How's it going?
I realised that it's going okay.
I'm good. I'm glad.
Water. I have lots of water.
I've acquired a lovely lunch. I might actually go and pop it in my Discord for those what is listening. So I have some photos I have taken. Mother has for the last 2 Saturdays decided that she wants to make shakshuka for lunch randomly on a Saturday. So we have a big spread today.
Hello.
Hello.
What's our random on a Saturday big spread?
Mother's decided she wants to cook her shakshuka twice in a row on a Saturday without prior notice or warning.
Oh, okay.
So I'm gonna put some pictures up in my Omnons channel on my Discord.
Oh, yes.
I'm gonna write !Discord in the chat for anybody who's not joined yet. There's some photos going up. There's home baked breads as well.
Mm-hmm.
There was a salad. I haven't had too much of the salad just because I took a portion of shakshuka and ended up being a bit bigger than I intended for it to be. There's a lentil salad. There's some patties of stuff that I don't actually know what they are. But they smelled nice when they were cooking.
Fair.
And then there's the shakshuka itself with everything such. So I have that, and I'll be hopefully trying to sneakily mute every once in a while for a little bite. Is the plan. And not let it go cold.
What a spread.
Oh, well, that looks delicious. That all looks very yummy.
Uh-huh.
I was scrolling Reddit on my phone a minute ago, and I saw a post in the Magic subreddit that was like, infinite combo in Final Fantasy X Precon. I was like, look away, look away. So I have been made aware of it twice now.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited. I'm very excited. But back to 7 first of all.
Yes.
Next of all, we have Vincent. As far as I'm aware, Vincent is also a playable character. I could be corrected on that.
Very dramatic, edgy.
Very dramatic, edgy. He has as menace, and whenever one or more creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, put a +1/+1 counter on him. And he has chaos. Whenever he deals combat damage to an opponent, it deals that much damage to each other opponent if his power is 7 or greater.
Uh-huh.
So, playing into the 7 thing.
This deck needs Blade of Selves.
I mean, maybe Blade of Cells will be in here. It is in the secret lair, so maybe not.
Oh, that's
I
fair.
would love it if it is.
That's a fair point.
Here he
But
is.
yes. Here's Red. Look at him. Oh.
That is a lot less cat-like than I perhaps expected, and more kangaroo-like. But that is a gorgeous-looking creature.
Yeah. So yeah, Red 13. He is obviously experiment as Squishy told us. 3/3 for 3 with vigilance and trample, and other modified creatures you control have vigilance and trample.
Oh.
I
mean, that's really good.
He has Cosmo Memory. When he enters, you return target aura or equipment card from your graveyard to your hand. So nice, some more recursion for equipments, which is nice. I do think it is just the positioning. Yes, he's doing a big ol' yump.
I feel like that's interesting to grant vigilance on a red-green creature.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that is actually though uncommon, but it feels different.
Uh-huh. What colors is it normally in?
I would say granting vigilance is normally a white thing, or maybe a
Uh-huh.
green. Definitely can have vigilance.
Mm-hmm.
It's just giving it to other creatures is I would think is less of a green thing.
Yeah. Yeah, he is very mountain lion tiger. Here is another cat. On my screen. Tuna, are you gonna leave? What do you do? Okay, goodbye. Then we have armory.
Maybe I'm wrong. I'm looking
automaton.
at the
Oh,
oracle
gorgeous.
tag to grants vigilance, and there's a fair few green creatures. I think it's mostly white, but there's a few green, and there's a few boros. So things that are part red. Oh, that is I kind of love it. So Armory Automaton is another reprint. There's a few sort of like classic equipment decky reprints in here because they're just good cards generally for equipment decks.
Yoink.
Yeah, I assume this is as a sweeper according to the flavor text from Jesse. They can wipe out a whole squad in seconds.
It's like if a Rolls Royce was angry and had guns.
Yep.
And these are very like Warhammer bolt gun guns as well.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, whenever this creature enters or attacks, you may attach any number of target equipment to it. That is fun.
Mm-hmm.
That is fun.
Heidegger.
And we Heidegger. He's a Shinra executive. So big bad guy man. He's a legendary human soldier, 3/3 for 4. At the beginning of combat on your turn, target creature you control gets +X/+O until end of turn, where X is the number of soldiers you control. At the beginning of your end step, create a number of 1/1 white soldier creature tokens equal to the number of opponents who control more creatures than you. Okay. So you could get up to 3, I guess. I don't know if there's anything flavorful in what he does with what the game is, but
I mean, I guess he, like he's obviously he's going to be some kind of a commander in the army because of the soldier
Yeah.
synergies.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, the classic white like catch up mechanic: make creatures equal to the number of people who have more thing than you.
Yeah.
He probably could be. I don't know if he could be commander material really. I think
Yeah,
red.
I was gonna ask what you think of
Red would be an interesting commander, actually.
Yeah.
To have. Most ever gonna end up with 2 more creatures than the next size spent. Yeah. He's not gonna like push you very out there. He's more of a 99 card than he is a commander card. Aerith, we've heard a lot about her.
Aerith is here. So this isn't the Aerith card that they showed at the showcase, because the Aerith card that they showed at the showcase had like 3 different abilities, and the last ability was when she dies, and they were like, there's maybe a bit of a spoiler in this card about the game. Oh, can anyone confirm that? And yeah, so this is a different Aerith to the one that they showed at the showcase, which is obviously in the set rather than in this Precon. But like, she's lovely. As far as I'm aware, she is a white mage in the game, so having lifelink makes total sense. White mages are healers generally, so just 3/5 for 4 has lifelink. And raise at the beginning of your end step. If you gained life this turn, return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. If you gain 7 or more life this turn, return that card to the battlefield instead, which I think is nice.
So that's a fairly
sevens.
sort of standard greeny whitey kind of a recursion ability.
Yeah.
Repeatable recursion to your hand is solid enough. Gaining 7 or more life might be tricky to pull off on the regular, but you can definitely do it. Obviously, I guess in this deck, the idea is that you're going to pump her up and then hit out with her for her lifelink ability.
Yeah, and then her lifelink will kick in and you'll get it, so...
She would be commander material of a sort. I don't know what kind of a deck that would be. Because she wants you to have creatures in your graveyard, which is either self-mill or sacrifice. Yeah. And she wants you to be gaining life. Hex, you're the aristocrats experts. Can you do sacrificing for gain life a lot?
I only really play black aristocrats. Or black and white aristocrats. So I don't know what white does with it all. I don't really touch white, so
on its own.
it's lost to me, yeah.
No, this is
certainly in black and white, you gain a load of life off sacrificing things. But I think that's a black thing rather than... I don't know.
But the tokens wouldn't be in your graveyard. Tokens don't go to your graveyard, so... She's the last of an ancient race. Early on, Hojo is after her because he wants to run a bunch of evil experiments. Yes, I forgot about that bit.
Oh, she's E.T.
This is... she's E.T. Oh god. But yeah, this is very, very pretty art. I like this a lot. She's lovely. Aerith is just beautiful, beautiful.
Oh, a boy.
Kate
Sith. A boy. It's Kate Sith.
Another Moogle.
Kate Sith. Kitsit is a robotic cat that rides on a robotic Moogle. I love them. They're great. But yeah, so cat Moogle rather than just Moogle because of the two of them being together.
And it's an artifact because they're robotic.
Yes, that's where the artifact is coming from. They're a 3/3 for 4 with lucky slots. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you scry one, then exile the top card of your library. You may play that card this turn. When you exile the card this way, target creature you control gets +X/+O until end of turn, where X is that card's mana value.
That's fun. That's a nice little ability. Fun. That's
yeah.
Reminiscent of like something like Talon Brawl, etc. Repeatable Impulse Draw, like repeatable card advantage is pretty solid. Giving buffs, obviously it's a red buff, so it's +X/+O rather than +X/+X, is also nice. I'd consider running that, especially as you get the scry and then the impulse
draw. Yeah,
like scry and then draw is good.
As far as I'm aware, Kitsit shows up in like the casino-y type thing where you can obviously see all the coins here, and that's giving it the name Lucky Slots is fun flavor. But yeah, I like these a lot. They're great.
The fact that I'm not sure, is the flavor that the slots are lucky because you're scrying and then you're getting the cards? Or is it...
I would imagine so, yeah.
Are the lucky slots, quote-unquote, actually like rigged in the game?
That's the thing, I wouldn't know. But yeah, the Mega Horn, like the thing is quite cool. I will wait for a response from Squishy.
Yeah. I see, like a... I see the word Megahorn and I think, oh, that's a bug type move from Pokemon. I can't remember if it's Hyper Beam for the bug type move or if it's Close Combat but the bug type move. It's
one of the limit breaks.
I think it's Hydro Pump but bug type.
One of the limit breaks. Okay, so I guess they're somewhat rigged. So yeah, limit break, big special attack. Here we have Barrett, who is Avalanche leader. Avalanche, the eco terrorists who have recruited Cloud. 4/4 for 4. Has reach and Avalanche. Whenever an equipment you control enters, create a 2/2 red rebel creature token. That's fun. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you attach up to 1 target equipment you control to target rebel you control.
Oh, that's pretty nice as well. I don't know how much of a tribe rebels have already in Magic, but like he'd be a solid rebel commander for like a tribal rebel equipment-y sort of a deck. At the very least. Like even if there's not much of a tribe existing, but that's I love that ability.
And you can see he's got Avalanche Sector 7 behind him, so some nice art. But yeah, he's fun.
One of the things I'm noting is there's not a huge density of rebels in this deck. Like it's kind of just him and Avalanche in this deck that are rebels.
Yes, but like as with Squirreled Away not having many squirrels,
he makes you the rebels.
He makes you the rebels. So
you might have. I'm pretty sure there are a couple of white spells that make you X cost rebels. I think they're rebels. Is it Secure the Waste? Does that give you rebels?
I'll go have
So we might actually have more in the spell section later.
Go have a little quick check. So there's a decent number of cards that care about rebels. There's Defiant Falcon, which is interesting. It's an old white card. One and a white for a 1/1 with flying. Pay 4 and tap. Search your library for a rebel card with converted mana cost 3 or less and put that card into play. So there are rebels. Like rebel support.
No, Secure the Waste is warriors.
Insight Rebellion. No, that's not Insight Rebellion. Goldwarden's Gambit. Hang on, I should have this up on my stream so they can see what I'm looking at in real time. Goldwarden's Gambit makes rebel creatures and has affinity for equipment. And that's from Phyrexia All Will Be One. So that's a card that would be a good match for old Barrett there.
Yeah. What I find interesting is for this Precon is the next card we have is another Barrett.
Oh,
A
hang on.
different Barrett.
Hang on, let me tab you back in. Oh, yeah.
So we have a 4/4 for 4 Barrett Wallace, who is a human rebel, has reach, and whenever he attacks, it deals damage equal to the number of equipped creatures you control to defending player.
Very nice. Yeah, solid.
Yeah. Welcome back, Artie. So yeah, he's fun. He's like, I don't know, hasn't got as much going on as the other Barrett, but
yeah,
it's still fun.
He might be. He might be like his effect is a little bit underwhelming for 4 mana. Like I guess he's 4 mana because he's on a 4/4 body. But
yeah,
I'd look at that if I was looking at all of my 4-drop slots. I'd be like, is he worth it for 4 mana?
Yeah, that's fair.
But again, I'd often rather they printed new cards that were slightly questionable for their mana value than cards like Sid, who are like, that's really good for that mana value.
Yeah.
Sephiroth!
Here's the boy. So here's one of the Sephiroth cards that are being printed in this set. I know there are multiple. There's at least 2. There might be more. So we have a 7/5 for 5. He's a human avatar soldier. He has Genova cells. So Genova is the extraterrestrial creature who is basically his mother. So whenever he attacks, you may put a cell counter on target creature. Until end of turn, each modified creature you control has base power and toughness 7/5.
Oh wow.
And then he has the reunion. You pay 3, sacrifice a modified creature, return this card from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped.
I love
He's
that.
a big boy.
Yeah, he's a big boy. He makes everyone into big boys as well, yeah.
Yeah, this gives me vibes of your what's your dinosaur card?
Displaced dinosaurs.
Historic. Yeah, fucking displaced dinosaurs. It's like everything's a 7/7 dinosaur because it's historic. It's like, go away.
I think this will be a lot less traumatic than that, but he can go in the command zone.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's the thing. So and it's whenever he attacks, you can put a cell counter on target creatures.
Yeah.
You can just he's scary to be swinging at you already, and
he's making at least one other thing into a 7/5.
Yeah, so he's big boy,
and he brings himself back, which is very nice.
For 3, and sacrifice a creature, but
you can slap cell counters. You can prepare for that, can't you?
You could put a cell counter on something small and just. Yeah. So I like him a lot.
He's good in this deck with its focus on 7s.
Yeah.
And modified creatures. I think in a deck that he was helming, you'd want to. It would be a real go wide deck. Like you'd splurge out a bunch of little 1/1s and find a way to put a +1 counter on each of them, and then suddenly they're all 8/6s.
Yeah. And you'd want to, if he was, if someone got rid of him, you'd want to just send him to the graveyard straight away. He's cheaper then. You know what I mean? Especially if you've got tons of little small things. Yeah.
And I'm sure there must be loads of support for that already in either human tribal or soldier tribal or both, which he fits into.
Yeah. But yeah, he's real good. I'm excited about him. I hate him, but I love him. Bronze Guardian. Is this a reprint or is this a new thing?
I don't know. I can go have a quick look.
Lore tidbit on the Genova calls. All the soldiers were they were infected with the cells. Yes, and sometimes turned people into monsters, sometimes made super soldiers. Very messy. So yes, they were infected with the cells of Genova, the extraterrestrial creature, and modified and made different, and yeah. And Sephiroth basically tells Cloud that he's there's some failed experiment and that he can manipulate him and all this, but
this is a reprint.
Okay, so something 5 for 5, with double strike, ward 2. Other artifacts you control have ward 2, and its power is equal to the number of artifacts you control.
This is a solid boy. I maybe
could
should
be
put him in
many.
my Sarah Jane deck.
Yeah, he's a solid big boy. I like him.
Yeah, and he's quite simple, but like the giving artifacts ward 2 is pretty solid as well, actually, because artifacts are one of the more vulnerable card types.
Yeah.
Won't save you from an overloaded Vandal Blast.
No, but almost nothing does.
Yeah.
And then we have a Hellkite Tyrant. Is Final Fantasy VII one that's going to have dragons in it? I assume it must be if they put it in the deck, but
I don't know of dragons, but possibly.
It's an alternate win con.
So it does have dragons. Okay, so 6/5 for 6 flying trample, and whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, you gain control of all artifacts that player controls. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 20 or more artifacts, you win the game. Oh god.
It's
okay.
Against the right deck, it's a real scary boy.
Yeah. Oh boy. Yeah, he's big boy.
We have a summon.
There's why we want tons of treasure.
Yes.
Yeah.
We have a summon, Kujata. I don't know who this big ox is, but he's a big ox.
Oh, sorry. Can we go back to the Hellkite for just a sec? Sorry, because I just remembered.
Sorry, I moved.
No, you moved on the right time, and then I just thought of something else. I think this deck is not going to get 20 more artifacts very often at all. Like, you're going to have equipment out, but you're going to have like 5 equipments out tops. And like, unless you can really steal loads and loads of things from your opponent, like if you're playing against somebody who has an artifact deck, you might get the 20. But if it's just this deck and other people have like some mana rocks here and there, especially because once Hellkite Tyrant drops, they're not going to be playing anymore. I don't think you're going to get the 20 in this deck.
Every time you're attacking with Cloud, you are getting 2 treasure tokens.
It's
like
the
that
treasures
is
that you would,
If
you
hold
on to them and don't use them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But like you're making 2 a turn off of Cloud. That's 10 turns on his own. Now, obviously, you've got maybe you're capping out your 5 equipments on the board at one time roughly. Because like if you've got more than 5 equipments on the board, you've probably won anyway from whatever you're doing with those equipments. So that's knocked off 2, maybe 3 turns of this. You're gonna have to swing a lot with Cloud at power 7 to get those 20 treasures. That's just like, well,
I mean that is fair, but like, I guess, yeah.
I just think you'll have won. Like the stealing all artifacts is nice, but it's dependent on what your opponents do. You'll have won long before you get the 20 artifacts to get Hellkite Tyrant's alternate con.
Possibly.
I do keep saying that Commander battles are longer. That's true.
Like 10 turns to get Cloud stuff, but like if it's a long game, it's a long game. Like we've played games that are nearly 3 hours long. You know what I mean? They're taking more than 10 turns.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry, we were going back to your Ox friend.
Well, you said my Ox friend. I don't know who he is other than yes, I'm guessing it's Kujata King Girl. Thank you. Who is a 7/5 for 6 with trample and haste on his creatureness. With your first lore counter, you've got lightning. This creature deals 3 damage to each of up to 2 target creatures. He's just a normal summon you get. Okay, I didn't know if he was like specifically special or anything like that. So I guess that makes sense with the multi-elemental, because the next one is ice. Up to 3 target creatures can't block this turn. And then you've got fire. Discard a card, draw 2 cards. When you discard a card this way, this creature deals damage equal to that card's mana value to each opponent.
Oh. See, if that was like a permanent ability, that would be lovely.
Yeah.
Hex, you were saying?
Oh, sorry, I managed to spin myself back round to the white side of the table somehow. I don't know what button I pressed.
Possibly space.
That you discard your card before you draw your cards. It would be nice if you could fish for something big, but I get why you don't.
I mean, that's the red way. Red gets rummage. whereas blue gets loot.
Yeah.
So that's for those who don't know. Rummage is when you discard and then draw, and loot is when you draw and then discard.
My problem is when I'm playing red, it's red green for treasure things. So I have the draw then discard then get treasure situation going on. So I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, I don't like the order of that.
That's fair. I have not done this on purpose, but we have done rows of 7.
Incredible.
I will say, as long as we do have a couple ways to bring things back from the graveyard as well. I think only Earth was creature specific. But
Sid
that joy
wants
of these
equipment
being
and
creatures.
vehicles. Aerith wants creatures.
Only
think
Earth
most of
isn't
the
too much. We could get
Things
him
are
back.
gonna want. I think most of the things in this deck are gonna be recursion for artifacts
Yeah.
or for equipment. I'm assuming, rather than for the summons.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, this guy, he's some one-time removal, and then a little bit of burn in a few turns, and he's on a decently sized body that's decently expensive, but not like too expensive. He doesn't stick around. I'm about him.
I mean, he's fine.
Yeah,
I think.
yeah, he's fine.
He's fine. Yeah, that's all the creatures. We have, what, 23 creatures?
Okay, so we're not super creature light, but on the lighter end.
Yeah. I will gather us up.
And not many of them artifact creatures either. We've got a couple.
Yeah.
Really.
Not a huge amount.
One of the things in like an artifact heavy deck is if you have a lot of artifact creatures as well, it's great for the synergy, but it can also make you way more vulnerable. Like if half of your pieces are artifacts and the other half of your pieces are also artifacts because they're artifact creatures, then you are one Vandal Blast away from defeat.
From trouble. Yes.
So it's a bit of a balancing
I run a couple of decks that put me one Vandal Blast away from defeat.
Speaking of Vandal Blast,
yeah, a Vandal Blast in a Precon is nice to have as well.
Destroy target artifact you don't control. And it's got Overload 4, so you can change target in its text to each, which is
I don't think
big.
this is a deck you want to overload this in.
No, that's fair. You don't want to overload this one, I don't think.
But you say that it's each you don't control, so your stuff is safe.
Yeah, everything of yours will be fine.
Vandal Blast is a big commander staple, and it's a card that I often put on like the short list for a deck, and rarely makes the actual final cut. Just because.
Yeah.
The thing about hitting only artifacts is not every opponent is guaranteed to run like artifacts that are scary, whereas almost all decks tend to have problem creatures. And if a deck has enchantments, they're likely to be problem enchantments. But oftentimes, the only things that the Vandal Blast will hit will be like a bunch of mana rocks, and it's like, what's the point?
Yeah, that's fair.
It's if Commander had sideboarding, Vandal Blast would be an excellent sideboard card.
Yeah. We have a Nature's Lore with, I think this is the live stream, but I will be happily corrected if I'm wrong. Taking that mostly from the flavor text, but I believe it is. But yeah, search your library for a forest card and put it onto the battlefield. That Nature's Lore is just nice. I like it. It's a good card.
Wouldn't be green without some ramp.
Exactly.
I like 3 visits, which is the like mechanic identical to Nature's Law. I like 3 visits because it's the Doctor Who one. Nature's Law is not, but like it's just a nice effect. I'm very fond of my land-based ramp. It's very good in Commander.
Yeah. We have a rampant growth. I don't know where exactly this is in Final Fantasy VII, but it's pretty. It's based on a scene in the observatory. Which explains the lore of the world via 3D projector. Oh, that's fun. That's fun. I like that. But yeah, this is basically the same as Nature's Lore, except it comes out tapped. So, but it's a basic land, whereas Nature's Lore is just a forest card specifically.
It's a pretty cultivate.
Oh, it's Aerith, because Aerith runs a flower shop, as far as I'm aware. So this is pretty nice. It's just lovely. Two basic lands, put one on the battlefield, one in your hand. Pretty art.
Yep. I mean,
like
that's kind of what you're gonna have these cards like this that are like that's the staple ramp cards. They're not very exciting. They need to look pretty, and that's kind of it. And they do.
Yeah, and they do. Secret Rendezvous. Oh, so there are multiple of this card.
Yeah, there's multiple arts of this card that I've seen.
From 7, just from 7. Because there's multiple, like, of different people having a secret rendezvous with Cloud.
Yes. I did want to ask you, what is the context of the secret rendezvous?
Oh, which you can't be asking me that. You must be. I should ask Squishy that. That's not. I just think it's fun. You get to go on a date in a gold saucer. Basically, there's a card for each. That's amazing. That's amazing.
Is it part of like a romance system in the game, or is it just a one-off event? Like a Baldur's
really
Gate style thing where you can choose someone to be your romantic companion, or?
Very good question.
It's a good question for someone in the chat.
Well, yeah, I know. I'm just like, people take a while to type.
I know.
And there's a delay. Sorry.
Can't choose. It's based on who you've been most friendly with. Gotcha.
Harmonize. Draw 3 cards. It's nice to get some card draw. This is every art of Aerith is pretty. So
have you considered, Shaka, that maybe you just think Aerith is pretty? I mean, I'm not gonna say you're wrong, but
well, I'm not wrong. So have you seen her?
I have, yes, on several pretty card arts, looking pretty.
She's pretty. Look at her. Behold. Yeah, think. Yeah, exactly, King Girl. She it's just a fact. Just a fact.
Decimate.
Just a fact.
I do love
Decimate. Yep. Okay. Destroy target artifact, creature, enchantment, and land.
Yeah. One of the things that
you can't cast this spell unless you have legal choices for all its targets.
That's interesting reminder text to include.
I did not know that.
Oh, I did know that, but I don't think I've ever seen the reminder text before.
So, like, if you didn't have, there was no artifact you could target, you couldn't cast this spell.
Yes.
I did not know that, and that's not clear.
Oh,
if you don't have the flavor text, that's not clear to a person that's new. That's not clear at all.
Oh, I hadn't realized that wasn't clear, I guess. But yeah, no, in general, whenever you need, if it's something lists targets, you have to be able to meet all of those targets when you cast it. It doesn't. You don't have to meet all of them for it to resolve. You just have to meet at least one for it to resolve. But if you need to meet all of them to actually cast it.
Well, it can't resolve if you can't cast it, though.
Well, yeah, but like if you cast it targeting with legal targets, and then somebody like you let's say you cast it and your opponents don't have any enchantments, so you target your own enchantment and then you cast a different spell to bounce your own enchantment back.
Right.
Then it'll still resolve. So you need
No, sorry, go on.
I was just gonna say you don't need all the targets to be there on the field still for it to resolve, but you need them to be there to cast it.
Yeah. But you say that's why the reminder text existed, but I've never seen this reminder text. I've literally never seen it. Like, it's never been on a decimate that I've ever seen until now. And a lot of the time, these kind of things aren't on it. Maybe I'm just stupid.
I mean, obviously you're not stupid, because obviously they had a reason for putting the reminder text on here. So obviously enough people found it unclear or unintuitive enough that they've thought, we need to remind people. And obviously, also the Final Fantasy decks, maybe their reminder text is going to be slightly more sort of. I was going to say maybe the reminder text will be slightly more common, but actually I don't think that's been true. Because they're designed to be an onboarding product, a lot of these Commander Precons, and especially the Universes Beyond stuff that like reaches out to audiences that haven't played Magic before. But yeah, they obviously it is unintuitive because otherwise they wouldn't have put the reminder text there. So you're not alone in that, clearly. I'm just surprised because I've not seen the text before.
There's, I mean, I feel like I've played cards like this, and I've probably been like, there's not a target for this, but that's fine. Like, and I've not been called up on it, so
There's a green-black one that you've played that is, I think, slightly different because it's choose one or more.
Maybe, yeah.
And that's why it's choose one or more, because then you can cast it if there's not a legal target for each one, because you just don't pick that mode.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know, but yeah, like does the card hex have reminder text for that? Like, that's not clear to me. Like,
I feel like the regular card has this one because I won a game the other day based on this one, using it to board wipe because I copied it. And obviously, if you copy it, you can select the things that are. There was only one artifact, I think. But that was fine. I just chose the same artifact for the copy as well because things were still in the stack.
Yeah.
But I feel like for me to have cottoned on to that one and remembered it particularly well, the regular one must say it as well.
I mean, maybe. I don't think I've ever played Decimate, but it's the fact that, like, it applies to everything that says target thing. You know what I mean? It applies to every card that has this thing with target. I haven't seen this kind of reminder text before to basically be like, you can't cast a spell.
Yeah, I'm looking at it, and looking at Decimate in particular. It looks like they brought in this reminder text for the Murders of Karl of Mana reprint, and then all of the ones since then have had it.
Right.
But the early printings, so like Neon Dynasty Commander, Dominaria Mastered, Commander Masters didn't have
it. Bit of backstory for the Decimate art. In response to Avalanche causing so many issues, and after Shinra finds out where their hideout is, they drop the plate of Sector 7, totally destroying that part of the city. Oh boy. I'm just pressing buttons by accident. So that's great. Well done, me. But yeah, that's that. Oh. This is fun. I like the art. I haven't read the card at all.
It's good art. It's very dramatic.
It's very dramatic. Unfinished business. Return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Then return up to 2 target aura and or equipment cards from your graveyard to the battle attached to that creature. That's cool. It's the Turks. So
I was about to say that's Jenny Whittaker in the background, isn't it?
Yeah, so that's who Elena works for. But yeah, it's a nice card. It's business time. Can you calm down, mouse, please? Thank you. Yeah, I guess this is what I was confusing it with because I have a thing that's just choose one or more, I guess, maybe. A steward command. You choose to destroy all artifacts, all enchantments, all creatures with mana value 3 or less, or all creatures with mana value 4 or less.
Mm-hmm. It's a fine enough board wipe. I like the modality of it. It means if you're running one thing or the other, like cheap things or expensive things, you can save them more often. You can't always, but yeah. Yeah, it's one of the board wipes I like more.
Yeah. Ultimate Magic Meteor. Oh boy. Sephiroth wants to make Big Meteor. This is very appropriate.
I see. Does he have a reason for wanting to make Big Meteor?
I can't even remember. He's big bad guy. It makes meteor with magic, with magicka or materia. And this is a big meteor. Deals 7 damage to each creature. If the spell was cast from exile for each opponent, choose an artifact or land that players control. Destroy the chosen permanents. Oh boy. And it's got 4 to L5.
I adore the foretell here.
Yeah.
So I assume you kind
Just-
of see this meteor like looming on the horizon in the game or something. Is that why it has foretell?
That's a good question. The joke is with this card, by the time you can cast the 7 damage, may not be enough to wipe the board.
Yeah, I
mean,
kind of agree. Like it's it's the same with delayed blast fireball. Like it's a little bit
Yeah.
difficult to get off a delayed blast fireball that will actually clear out everything because
Yeah.
like 7 damage is a decent amount. And it's one of those things where like if your opponent has like a pumped up creature, and if that's why it's in this deck, I guess, because if you have a pumped up creature, then it'll live.
Yeah.
I think that this kind of damage-based board wipe does make sense in a deck like this that's focused around getting everyone bigger.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's
Then
interesting.
you'll be fine.
I think it's interesting that it's 7 when, like, oftentimes you'll be trying to get Cloud to like exactly 7, and so this will still hit him if this will still kill him if he's at exactly 7. So you do need to actually slightly overshoot Cloud in order
Yeah.
for him to live.
I mean, the majority of things that are features with 7, it's all 7 or greater in this deck. So,
Yeah.
but you kind of want, if you're going to play this, you want the or greater for sure. Vanquish the Horde.
Diamond weapon. I think it's a diamond weapon.
Yeah.
We got it in 14. It was a really cool fight.
Look at him. So a spell costs 1 less to cast for each creature on the battlefield. So I mean, it could just cost 2 white, which is kind of crazy. Just destroy all creatures. Big board wipe.
It's a less cool blasphemous edict because it's white.
I was thinking it's White's Blasphemous Act.
Blasphemous Act, Blasphemous Edict. They do similar situations, but yes.
I don't love
all
this
the sorceries,
for
I
this
think.
deck. Like, has a board wipe. Like, wanting there to be lots of creatures on the battlefield isn't what this deck does.
Yeah.
And it's an asymmetric board. It's a symmetric board wipe as well.
Mm-hmm.
I guess if you have your equipment that are making things indestructible, then fine. But then you have so many board wipes to choose from. Why would you choose this one?
Yeah, that's fair. They were made by the planet as a defense system against Genova. Ah, I see. I see.
And Genova's
the extraterrestrial creature that's Sephiroth's mother. Basically, yeah. Big chunk of rock in his chest, a big chunk of materia. Oh, that is a big chunk. Big chunk. I am so glad Breath is here. This is helpful. We're going about half an hour when we don't know work. That is totally fine. You are allowed to have a life that doesn't revolve around my stream. But yeah, that's all the sorceries, right?
I believe so, yes. I'm very excited to talk about the next instant. Or the first instant. I mean, I'm not very, very, very excited, but like, I saw it and I was like, oh, I love it.
I like to. No, yeah, I understand telling me. Don't worry.
But yeah, Dispatch. It's a 1-mana exile, like Path to Exile or Source Splashes, except it doesn't have a downside the same way those do. The catch is that you need to have 3 more artifacts, but in any deck that is like even moderately artifact heavy, I think this is a great include. I love that they've put it in here. I also, incidentally, love this art, although I'm not sure it's very Dispatch-y art. Like, he's just doing a generic sword, but it's cool art nonetheless. So I really rate Dispatch in any artifacty deck.
Yeah,
I would accept it's white.
What?
I don't run white.
What you need to know about white is it has good removal.
You've cleaned that motorbike. Have you, I nearly said swords to parshes. Have you, God, I'm so splashes on the brain
Power
for some
washed?
reason. Yes, that's what that's the word I'm looking
Oh, right,
for.
okay, yes, we've power washed. I was just not understanding because sometimes my brain is very, very slow.
No, I was not saying words that were anything like power
No, but
wash. I was...
I'm saying I was slow based on what Artie said, not anything
Oh, I
based on what
see.
you said, because none of what you said helped until the end.
It was plowshares. I was stuck on plowshares and power
You're
wash.
just like, oh, plowshares. What are you trying to say? Thanks.
Oh,
Power wash. Yes, we have cleaned that motorbike. That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy. But yeah, we should do more Final Fantasy. There's the Midgar stuff. Here is Cloud's Limit Break.
This is another card that the naming just seems like including clouds in it feels like weak. Like why isn't it just called Limit Break? I mean, maybe there's another card called Limit Break in the main set.
I mean, maybe it's just like Limit Break is such a standard thing across the games, like that it's very possible it is in other places. But also like the things are Cloud's different limit breaks, so they are specific to him in this one.
Yeah. So I had not realized that the person had more than one limit break. So do you know enough about like what a limit break is that you can tell me, or do I have to rely on on Wrath?
I mean, in 10, all of them have different limit breaks. They all have completely different ones. Like some of them are just different sword moves. You have Walk as one that is the slot machine, but he has different ones. It's like at least in 10, you're building up enough damage that you've done or damage that you've taken to be able to do your limit break, which is like a big attack or a big heal, or it's just the bigger thing. But like you can choose from loads of different ones. Like there's Ronso Rage for Kamari, but then Kamari also can learn like ones that are very similar to other ones. It's a greater call. Yeah, it's basically a greater call, like in Hades.
Yeah. I guess I just sort of assumed that like everyone would have one ultimate attack that was their ultimate attack. I hadn't realized they had more than one.
Yeah, no, like all of the characters in Final Fantasy X have different ones. So.
There's another thing I want to talk about with this card, which is I think very interesting that they have. As far as I know, this tiered is new. Like this is a new take on like modal or escalate or something. This is just choose one additional cost.
So that the base... you can choose 2 things total.
I think you do choose one. So that the base card is just 1 and a white for destroy target tapped creature, or it can be 2 and a white for the Blade Beam one, or the whole card in total is 4 and 2 white for the Omni Slash version, which I think is interesting.
Right, okay.
Now that's how I read that anyway. I'll go have a look to see if there are other things.
I mean, you're probably right. It's the wording of choose 1 additional cost. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. It's just I think it's very strangely it's a weird wording.
It is a weird wording.
But I'm also not enough of a Magic person. I'm like I didn't understand the thing about the targets earlier with Decimate, so like,
You're all good. You're good.
I'm just making it clear that I don't understand things as well. So
I think it's also interesting. This is the 4th board wipe so far in this deck? Question mark?
Possibly, yeah.
This is going to blow up a lot of creatures, this deck. Which, I mean, I guess it kind of needs to, maybe, if it's Voltron-y. Because in order to get through, you need to...
I still don't think I know what that word means.
Voltron is when you're making like one super powerful creature by stacking lots of buffs and abilities onto it. So in this kind of a Voltron deck, you have a creature, a base creature, and then you're slapping on equipments to it. In other Voltron decks, you might be slapping on like synergistic abilities, like your commander, not your commander, your Bastion Protector and your Thunderfoot Baloth. But if the goal is to make one creature that's big with all of those effects, then that's Voltron.
Okay.
It's a good job. The 14 deck has lots of unnecessary creatures for this one to blow up, and lots of unnecessary artifacts for this one to steal.
Oh yeah, that's fair. That's totally fair. Um, some more ultimate magic. We had ultimate magic meteor earlier. Now we have ultimate magic holy.
Ooh.
Permanents you control gain indestructible until end of turn. If the spell was cast from exile, prevent all damage that would be dealt to you this turn.
I definitely have decks that
got
this could
foretell.
go straight into. I love this. I mean, I love foretell anyway.
Yes.
I'm always like foretell normally is like a cost reduction mechanic. So these ones where the foretell cost is the same as the base cost, but you get an extra ability, are slightly like harder to digest.
Yeah.
But they're more powerful if you're running like an impulse draw style deck. It's the same cost as Teferi's Protection for what is a slightly worse effect than Teferi's Protection, but Teferi's Protection is honestly a bit OP, so I like this. I think this is a well balanced card. It maybe the base version could do with being 1 mana cheaper, possibly. I don't know. Like, because just 3 mana for gain indestructible until end of turn. You know, like it's a mana more than Heroic Intervention, and it doesn't give you hexproof as well. So
yeah, that's fair.
But yeah, no, in a deck that's going to be like impulse drawing or likes foretelling things for other reasons, I love this. I think this is great, and I think this is a nicely balanced card in general. Like it's not as strong as best in class, but it's a solid card. Chaos Warp, a staple.
Chaos Warp.
Do we recognize the art?
I do not, but I believe it must be Vincent, but different. The thing is, I'm getting less human.
Me and me did already look too much like Alcon thing.
That's very true. Very, very true. Yeah, target permanent shuffled into their library, reveal top card of your library. If it's a permanent card, you put it onto the battlefield. So, yeah.
That line also could have been delivered by Sephiroth's dad, who was getting less human but getting more alien. If you know what I mean.
No, Sephiroth's dad has stayed human.
Sephiroth
is part alien.
Oh my gosh, I love this. The Clever Concealment has been so in desperate need of a reprint for ages. I'm so glad they're reprinting this.
Vincent's limit break turns him into other creatures. I see. That makes sense. This is interesting art.
Uh-huh.
That's Cloud on the right, as far as I can tell.
I believe that they had to sneak into a particular kind of establishment, so they all dressed up nicely, but they wanted to sneak Cloud in too, so he got a makeover as well. And I believe in the remake there was a mini game, and depending on how well you did on the mini game, he got nicer or worse outfits.
Incredible. When you say
it's just the fact that like they've given him pigtails, but they haven't changed the rest of his hair at all.
That is wonderful. When you say a particular kind of establishment,
I'm not 100% sure because I just saw the clips because everybody went feral over this bit, but I believe it is a shady situation.
We can get confirmation in the chat. It's the same in the original, with the nicer things. Okay. Yeah, you've got Convoke with it. Your creatures can help you cast it, and any number of target non-land permanents you control phase out. They don't exist.
Yes, it's a lovely little protection spell. I love Clever Concealment as a protection spell. Like it's a bit pricey, but it has Convoke, so it's not actually too pricey at all.
Yeah, like it could be too white. It's a house of seamstresses, right? In the Discworld sense, but what's different? That's what
it's sounding like to me.
I don't know what
the only thing I remember about it is it looked really, really dodgy because there was the whole pretty girls plus power imbalance in the big man in charge.
I see. I see. Oh, this is a new card then, I think, unless it's like a reprint with a different name.
That must be.
It's life stream's blessing, because the life stream is a thing. Draw X cards where X is the greatest power among creatures you controlled as you cast this spell. If this spell was cast from exile, you gain twice X life.
Oh,
And
I
it's
love
got
this as
foretell,
well.
so
This is another card that could go in decks that I made. I love this. This you know Haldan and Paco that we were playing with before stream. Oh, sorry for
Yes.
before stream. This is going straight in that. Absolutely.
No, stop. Bad.
Yeah, green has a lot of. I like when green has like cards that link draw to their creatures more than I like stuff like the harmonize and things that we saw earlier. I love this card. It's great. The foretell is a little bit of a cost reduction, but is also like a buff to the spell. You're not gonna have this and think, oh, I really need to cast this from exile to make it worthwhile, which is nice. That's actually often the problem I have with the ones that have like a bonus effect for the foretell. Is often it feels like casting it without the foretell is not worthwhile. This one, the foretell extra is like it's a nice extra, but it's not enough that you like desperately need it.
Oh, that's the last one. Last instant. Cool. Now we've got the big pile of artifacts.
I really like the instants in this deck. These are good instants for this.
Very instants.
Also, instant speed ball vibes in general are just quite nice.
Yeah, I would tend to agree.
Skull Clamp.
We've got Skull Clamp.
That's an interesting
good little artifact.
I mean, it's a really strong artifact. This, I don't know if I've ever told you, but like when they first released this into standards, this broke the whole game. like it completely like destroyed the meta for a while when they first released it.
Right.
It's a really good card.
Weren't the rebels from Barrett 2/2, or am I thinking wrong?
That's a good question.
The rebels that like you got from Barrett. I believe they were 2/2s, yes.
Yeah, I've not seen very many things so far that Skull Clamp really works well with in this deck.
Yeah, that's fair. Cause like you'd want them to die, and yeah, I don't know.
But you
writing
put this
below
in
her
your
name
you put
changes
this in your
between
second
games.
for sure.
Yes. The original, it was made in Hong Kong, all rights reserved, 1996, Square Company Limited. Okay. And then what was it before? What was it after, I mean?
I can't read it enough on the card.
Oh, you definitely can't read it here, like. We've got a soul ring.
I'm guessing we've got the 7 soul ring somewhere.
Yes, there will be a 7 soul ring. Let me get that up, actually.
Yeah, I'm just getting up for my stream. And I finished my food, so I will no longer be sort of awkwardly on mute from time to time. Where are we?
So
this is the moon one.
Yes, this is the moon one.
The least ringy of the soul rings.
Yes, the least stringy completely, but it's big moony boy.
Although actually, I say that it looks like that might actually be a planet with rings, maybe.
Well, it's formed materia.
Oh, okay.
It's not the moon at all. It's like it's formed materia. If you read the flavor text of it, naturally formed materia, and look at the size of it. Astounding. For the Mako energy to condense into something like this, it must have taken an eternity. So it looks like a moon, but it ain't no moon.
I see. It's a space station. You've seen that Star Wars, right? That's the one you've seen.
I've seen Rogue One. It's the one I've seen.
Oh, it's Rogue One is the one you've seen. For some reason, I thought you'd seen The New Hope. Was the one you'd seen.
Oh, I mean, I have also seen that a long time ago, but Rogue One's the one I mostly remember. But like, yeah, this is just like materia formed together. So, sorry for my Star Wars not
Don't
knowing
be
ways.
sorry. I was briefly like, oh, I can finally make a. Cause, for those who don't know, like I keep making like Star Wars references at Shaka and then remembering they haven't seen Star Wars, and I suddenly realized, oh hey, this is a Star Wars reference I can make to one that they have seen.
I mean, I also have the shittest memory in the world, so like it's not.
Oh dear. No worries. What have we got next? Colossus Hammer.
The King Sith again, with a giant hammer this time. I love
I'm
him.
not sure which material is depicting though. It's been so long. That's totally fair. Oh, look at them! I love this. I love this.
I did sort of expect to see this in this deck, considering that Cloud has the auto snap-on ability. It's what Colossus Hammer is an interesting card. Like, it's nice to give the +10/+10. That's really nice.
Yeah.
You're only going to equip this to Cloud when he comes in. You are never ever going to pay that equip cost.
No, you're gonna try and get this out way before Cloud and just get it onto him.
Yeah.
It's a big thing. Seeing the message on Genova's plaques talking about the whole game, which I found funny. They made it actually relevant in Universal later games. That is totally fair.
Oh, Explorer Scope, a classic.
Whenever equipped creature attacks, look at the top card of your library. If it's a land card, you may put it onto the battlefield tapped. So I don't think I've ever seen this card, honestly.
It's a staple ramp piece in equipment decks. It's in the Fallout equipment deck as well.
Fair.
In a green deck, it's not like as important, but like it's still an equipment in an equipment deck.
Yeah. Trailblazers boots.
I'm assuming this must be a reprint because they don't generally make new Landwalk cards.
Yeah. Has non-basic land walk. Can be blocked as long as defending player controls a non-basic land. That's pretty good, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, in Commander, unless you're playing like a monocolored opponent, they're almost, and even then, often, but they're almost always going to have a non-basic land.
Yeah, exactly. So that's pretty nice to have. It's a reprint, yeah. I did think it would be. It didn't seem like a card that wouldn't be. Ooh, I like this art.
She just gets all the best art, apparently. Actually, Cloud
She
gets some
does.
pretty good art as well.
I mean, Yuffie's great. I love Yuffie so much. Got Conformer Shuriken for 2. It's a legendary artifact. Equipped creature has, whenever this creature attacks, tap target creature defending player controls. If that creature has greater power than this creature, put a number of +1/+1 counters on this creature equal to the difference.
Oh, I quite like that as an ability.
I like that.
Get rid of your opponent's best blocker, and if it's better than you, psych, you're just as good now.
Yeah, I like this a lot.
This is a good little kind of come from behind card a little bit. So I don't know if I've ever mentioned this to you. I probably haven't. There's a I think they call it like a quadrant theory or something of deciding what to put in a deck when you're making a deck. And the idea is there's like different parts of the game. So there's when you're behind. There's when you're there's when you're starting out. There's when you're at parity with an opponent and it's not clear who could win. And then there's when you're ahead. Those are the 4 quadrants, I think. And when you're like evaluating cards to put into the game, one of the ways you can evaluate them is like, is this a card that's good when I'm behind? Is this a card that's good at the start of the game? Is this a card that's good when we're even? Or is this just a card that is only really good to me when I'm already winning?
Yeah.
Which I've already said, like, some cards have struck me as win more cards a little bit.
Yeah.
So this is a good when I'm behind card. I quite like.
Yeah, I like this a lot.
And it's like even though it's dependent on what your opponent has, it's still not useless if your opponent doesn't do much because it's still always nice to tap down a potential blocker. Like that base utility is always just going to be good.
We have an arcane signet. Do we have a specific arcane signet?
We do have a specific arcane signet.
We do, okay. Arcane signet. Oh, I like
It's-
this.
It's some of the materials that people are talking about, but
Yes,
in the sword.
in the sword. I like this. This is very nice. This
It's a
is very,
socketed
very
gem.
nice. I appreciate this a lot.
Gosh, Cloud really is the golden boy, isn't he?
Yeah,
Yeah, he is.
it's funny because like, 6 was like a game that had like, there weren't, as far as I'm aware, there weren't really like main characters, and they had like the most playable characters in any Final Fantasy game. It has like 14 of them or something. And then like, while yes, you control other people in this, like Clyde is the poster boy. He is the main character. Like they went from having the most main characters ever to here is our one golden boy.
And
We love him.
He must be surely the most recognizable Final Fantasy character, like full stop. 'Cause, like I don't know anything about Final Fantasy, but like I recognize him on sight as being.
Yeah.
I wouldn't necessarily always remember his name, but like I know. Oh, that's the Final Fantasy guy with the big sword. He's in like he's the one who does the crossovers. He's in like Smash Brothers and stuff. You know, he is the poster child of the series.
He is. It's true. Wrecking Ball arm, which looks like Barrett. On the art for 2. Equipped creature has base power and toughness 7/7 and can't be blocked with creatures with power 2 or less.
I like it. It's good in this deck in particular, and I like the ability.
Cheap to equip to a legendary creature.
Yeah.
In comparison, it's fun.
Yeah. This isn't a reprint. This is a new card for Final Fantasy as well, specifically.
Yeah.
I happen to know that this man is called Reno, and that is all that I know.
Okay, I know nothing about him. He looks like from the business card, he looks like he might be part of the Turks. I said that as Squishy said he's a Turk, so I did good there. I did some good stuff. Barrett normally has a gun arm, but there are 1 or 2 weapons which swap it out to be a weapon. That's fair.
I can tell you that this man really needs to get a shirt to go under his jacket.
I think he's okay.
I stand corrected.
I was gonna say, I'm sure other people have different opinions on that. And I didn't need to, because Hex immediately was like, no, he's fine. He's fine.
He's fine. He's fine.
He can steal like that. It's okay. Yeah, so equipped creature gets +1/+1 for each color among permanents you control. As long as this equipment is attached to a creature, your opponents can't cast spells during your turn.
Yeah,
I know, right? Dizzy saying someone needs to put clothes on? That's... Are you okay?
I mean, it's less uncommon when we're talking about like generic cis men. He's kind of a fuckboy as well.
Not wrong.
Oh boy.
I think this is like effects that are like for each color among opponents you control. I often think they struggle to be good enough. Unless you're playing 5 colors, asterisk, and even then in a lot of cases. If you really care about the like stopping opponents doing stuff on the turn, this can be really good, and I know a lot of high-end play really cares about that. So yeah, this is a card for if you're playing like high-end play where there's going to be lots of instant speed interaction. / you're going to be playing like a combo deck where you need someone to not counter it.
It's really nice that its opponents can't cast spells on your turn, because Reth's been playing... In Reth Silly, everybody gets all the mana deck, which is a wonderful time to play into. It's actually so funny. They've got is it Drosin? It's a... Yeah, where no one can cast spells on somebody else's turn. And it's like a free win for me on Emery, because nobody can counter me. So it's really nice that you can stop other people from messing with you, but still hold something to stop problems yourself.
Yeah. This is another reprint. I love this card. This is in my Jenny deck list.
Yeah. Mask of Memory. You call equipped creature deals combat damage to a player. You may draw 2 cards. If you do, discard a card. It's Cheap to equip.
Yep, it's cheap. It gives you card advantage. It's a good card. For
Yeah,
equipment decks, it's a good
basically.
card.
More cloud.
More Cloud. Hero's Blade. Creature gets 3/2. Yeah, okay, that just puts him. Yeah, because as far as I'm aware, the Buster Sword is in the weapons secret layer and is a reprint of Hero's Blade. As far as I'm aware, I could be wrong. I will go find out.
That's fair. I know that the Hero's Blade is in the Doctor Who precons as well.
No, it's a different card. It's Umezawa's Jits as
Oh,
Cloud's
yeah.
Buster Sword.
Umezawa's
Forgot about
Jitter?
that.
Question mark.
Who knows? But yeah, it's Hero Blade. It gets Cloud up to his 7 immediately. +3/+2. And whenever a legendary creature you control enters, you may attach this equipment to it.
Yeah.
So
This is solid in this deck that you really want that thing, specifically that 3 power.
mhm,
A lot of the time, I don't think Hero's Blade is really worth it.
that's fair.
Because it's just a power boost to one creature, and it doesn't do anything else.
Yeah.
And if you're not getting that instant snap on, then it's prohibitively expensive to even equip it.
Well, I guess like working with Cloud, if you had 2 equipments, like this attaches to him from its own ability, and then you can attach something else to him from his ability.
Yeah.
So, big beefy boy.
Yeah, I rate this a lot more highly in this deck than in most decks.
Yeah. Oh, Red looks sad. Sad boy.
Heroes Heirloom, or possibly Heroes Heirloom.
I think it's Heroes Heirloom. I think you use one of each for this.
Heroes Heirloom.
No, stop it. So silly. So yeah, equipped creature gets +2/+1 as long as equipped creature is legendary. It has trample and haste. I mean, that's nice.
Yeah, it's fine. There's better ways of getting trample and haste on an equipment, I think, generally.
Mm-hmm.
Especially as this one is like only legendary. So like half of your like synergy pieces in the creature stack, things like your Pure Steel Paladin, etc. You can't even, there's not much point snapping this onto that.
Yeah, just to get the +2/+1, it's not
See you,
much.
Zati. Thanks for stopping by.
Bye, Artie.
Sword of the Animist. I love a Sword of the Animist.
Yeah.
More Aerith. She's just everywhere. She's great.
Yeah, and this is a great card. On attack, you ramp out one land. It's just a really good card.
Yeah,
Wee woo.
It is big wee woo. I agree. Lots of land.
Lightning Greaves.
Greaves, we love some Greaves.
Dude, this is the Tifa shoes. Tia, we get haste, we get shroud. We equip it for 0. It's pretty nice.
Yep, it's a commander staple. And it's a commander staple for a reason.
Yes.
It's interesting. It's Greaves, not
Boots.
Swiffer boots.
the Shroud is
Yeah, actually, that's a good point. The shroud is
questionable.
finicky, but I mean, the thing with Greaves is you can, if it's your turn and you're going to be trying to equip stuff, you can snap
Yeah,
on
yeah,
and
yeah,
off.
yeah.
But that is risky,
Yeah.
because when you take them off, then someone might kill you before you put them back on.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I think I agree with you, Hex. I might have gone for Swiftfoot in this deck. Especially as, like, if you have no other equipments, Cloud can snap the Swiftfoot on for free anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know that Swiftfoot isn't here, although I guess we've got to the 3 mana value artifacts now.
Did we
so
have
it's
Swiftfoot
not.
in the
We had it-
other ones?
We
with the
had it in one
shiny
of the other
sandals?
ones. Yes. That might have been in 6.
Yes. Little ruby slippers in 6 with the Swiftfoot boots.
Must have mixed up cards here because it's not in. Oh, I'm looking in the wrong thing. That's why. Because I'm an idiot.
Bonk.
I'm literally looking in the wrong deck. It's over here. Anyway.
You really want to get onto 10. You're like,
No, I'm just stupid, so.
no, I don't agree with that last one.
Yeah, well, that's debatable.
Well, I think we'll see what Shaka Chat thinks. Shaka Chat, do you have any redeems, for example, that might be relevant here?
Do you have them all labeled? Like, I can. It's so easy to read.
Oh.
I don't think that's the one that what Dizzy was talking about. Like, you literally have them all labeled. I could have just went to the correct thing. Anyway.
Yes, indeed. Champion's Helm.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fine equipment. +2/+2 and hexproof. I still prefer Swiftfoot to this. Like, the +2/+2 is nice, but it doesn't even reach the 7 that Cloud needs.
Yeah. Yeah.
The equipment that would be really wonderful in this, and I don't think they're going to put it in this because it's quite an expensive card, so I doubt they would have printed it here, is Champion's Plate, I want to say, that gives you like
Yes.
protection from every
Command.
color that's not in your identity.
Is that
Commander's Plate, yeah, it might be. And we have Summoning Materia.
This looks really cool.
I love the art.
Yeah. You may look at the top card of your library at any time. As long as this equipment is attached to a creature, you may cast creature spells from the top of your library, and equipped creatures get +2/+2, vigilance, and tap for green.
Yeah. It's, apart from the tap and for green, this is like 100% a blue card, which I think is interesting.
Yeah.
That it's interesting. It's like, take a creature and turn it into a utility creature. Because, like, when you put this thing on, you want to tap it for mana, and you want it to live so that you get the effectively the card advantage of casting from the top of your library.
Mm-hmm. That's Bahamut in the background. Okay, because there's a Bahamut in 10 who looks slightly different, so I wouldn't have recognized immediately, but yeah.
He looks very, very different from the Bahamut I know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I feel like this is a equipment you play. You snap it onto a creature and you kind of neutralize that creature a little bit. Like, it's fine to put on something that is already a synergy piece that you're not going to be swinging with. But then, is the +2/+2 that relevant? Like, I guess maybe if it brings out like lightning bolt range or something. But
well, I mean, it has +2/+2 on vigilance, so it's not going to tap to attack.
Oh,
and then you can tap it during your main phase, your second main phase for mana.
Yes,
like you can swing with it. It doesn't tap, and then you can still tap it for mana.
Yes, I'm being foolish. Good catch.
So.
Okay. I take that back. This is great. I mean, I like most things that give vigilance. This is a fine way to get vigilance. Like a little bit of sneaky card advantage and some mana and vigilance.
Yeah, like you've got a mana door that has vigilance, so like you can
attack and use it for its mana. That's I like that.
This is a
Inspiring
reprint.
Statuary. Non-artifact spells you have improvise. Artifacts can help. Your artifacts can help. Okay, it's like Convoke, but for artifacts.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, in equipments are like the unusual artifacts in that they don't normally tap themselves. So improvise in an equipment deck is solid and good. Gives you something you can tap your artifacts pretty much free.
Yeah.
That's a solid include.
Makes sense in this deck. Dark Steel Plate. We've got some dark-looking cloud. Equipped creature has indestructible, and that's it.
Yep.
Really.
I always think Dark Steel Plate is a little pricey for what it does. It really depends on like what you're putting on and what you're doing with it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you put it on a really great creature, then yeah, it's probably worthwhile. If you're making a beefed up cloud indestructible, that's fine.
Yeah.
If you're making an unbeefed up cloud, because that's the only equipment you have, indestructible, that's a bit much for 5 mana, I think. I love this. I love Beamless Sledge.
White green artifact. That's fun. Equipped creature gets +2/+2 and has trample and lifelink. So that's a nice equipment.
Yep.
I like it.
Absolutely.
That's what it says on the box.
It does.
I think that's
Okay,
it for
last
us.
2 cards. I'm not gonna. I wasn't gonna tidy up these ones because we literally have 2 cards. But you can start tidying if you want.
I'll go
I'll
tidy.
wait.
I'm not
I'll go
tidy
tidy.
well, but I'll tidy. I'm a messy creature by nature. Tidying is not my strong
okay.
suit. Yeah, I would have liked to see boots in this. Actually, I shouldn't have tidied up because I wanted to actually check. You're gonna have to bear with me getting this all out.
It's turning into our game earlier where Wrath was just like cards.
Yeah, I want to check out of all of these equipments. So get rid of the non-equipments. Is that really the only non-equipment? Oh no, there's statuary. Where's statuary? I should have done this. This was a disaster.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I got rid of
out of
statuary.
all of these equipments, how many of them actually make you meet the 7 power that Cloud needs? Because
On their own.
Yeah, on their own. This does. This doesn't. Skull Clan doesn't. That does.
That just makes it happen.
That will. That doesn't. That does. That doesn't. That doesn't. That doesn't. That doesn't. That might, situationally.
Yeah.
That doesn't. That doesn't. And that doesn't. I feel like I want more things in this deck that get Cloud up to that 7 on their own. As the 7
yeah,
is...
that's fair.
It's not like the most important thing, but like it's like the 2 mana is a very big deal, especially if it's 2 mana every turn.
Yeah.
That's why I like Hero's Blade in this deck, and I usually don't. And you just stuff like Hero's Heirloom and Dark Steel Plate, and honestly, kind of even Trailblazer's Boots and Champion's Helm. Like they have side effects, but I don't think the side effects are good enough when the main effect isn't doing what you need it to do. Like Trample and Haste is nice, but if this is the only equipment you have out, then it's just not enough. It's not doing enough for the thing that you need to do. It would be enough with Tifa, I guess, because the Trample and then with her melee that does bring her up to 7. So both of these do meet the 7 if it's Tifa, as does this.
I will say, I'm coming around to the Greaves because the thought that, like, you know, normally if you get dressed or you change trousers or whatever, you do have to take your boots off before you put more clothes on. But you absolutely do not have to do that for, like, goggles or a helmet or a weapon.
I forgot about that.
But the thought of Cloud just, like, taking his boots off, grabbing the weapon, putting his boots back on.
Well, see, what I'm imagining is he's taking his boots off, he's grabbing his weapon, and he goes to put his boots back on and he gets shot.
Yeah.
And Tifa's just there like, what are you doing? Why? No, I've come around to that one.
Yeah, like, I like these two. These two, I don't think do what the deck needs to. So if we were cutting and improving, I think I would cut those two. I would cut Dark Steel Plate. I would. Evasion is nice on decks that you have to swing out to get them to do stuff. So I don't know if for certain that I'd cut this. But it doesn't have any protection on it. Like it's just evasiveness. I would cut this for a sword of X and Y. Or if I was being budget, I'm sure I'd find something else to cut it for as well. Maybe something that gave flying and an ability, or flying and a buff. I think that's what I would do. So I think these are all like subpar cards for this deck in particular. These ones, the abilities are nice and they work fine enough with Tifa. I'd be looking at them askance. Well, not askance. I'd be looking at them like quizzically in Cloud specifically. Just like is it good enough that they're not meeting the 7 for what they do?
Yeah.
So that was my. I realized I did just make a huge mess again. Having said I'll clean up, I have in fact
Like,
done the opposite.
I'll clean up. Don't worry. I'll clean everything up.
I'll clean up Spray's cards.
I'll clean up. Wait, I need to see a thing. Let me throw the cards everywhere.
And I think that there's not enough because there are only like 3 or 4 things that do get him up to the 7 that he needs. I just don't think that's going to be enough. And again, like he does something like the drawing is probably more important than the mana, but the mana is not unimportant. So you do really want to be getting that 7.
Yeah.
Mitran says, I love the idea of these streams. I consider all TCGs to be a memetic hazard. You deliberately avoid learning anything about them. I mean, I can't say that you're exactly wrong. Shaka is having a problem because I introduced them to TCGs. Or what, to a TCG.
I'm having a problem. I don't know, like that's the thing. Like, you could watch these streams and you could not learn anything, and that's fine. I've watched months on end of Erinna streaming playing Magic, and I was just like, I'm a mod, so I'm here. I didn't learn anything, and I never like got into it. And then suddenly it was like, do you want to learn Magic? And then I did not have a problem. Yes. Should we last 2 cards?
Yeah, last 2 cards and then perhaps a break. I'm sensing.
Yes. Yes, I would like a break before we dive into
Final Fantasy
the big
10.
boy. Furious Rise. I don't know if this is a reprint or what. I imagine it probably is.
Go have a quick look. It's quite a generic name, so I would guess it might be.
Yeah. At the beginning of your end step, you control creature or exile the top card of your library. You may play that card until you exile another card with this enchantment. Right, so until the beginning of your next end step, basically.
Oh, that is interesting. Because like it's a little bit of future proofing in case you hit like a board wipe or something kills your big creature.
Yeah.
As a repeatable impulse draw, I do quite like this in a deck that's got power 4 or more, which this one does. It'd be a bit useless for me with my War Dock that's mostly power 3. But I like that. That's fun.
And then we have Soldier Military Program, which is enchantment. At the beginning of combat on your turn, choose one. If you control a commander, you may choose both instead. Create a 1/1 white soldier creature token. Put a +1/+1 counter on each of up to 2 soldiers you control.
Oh, that is interesting.
That's an interesting card. I like that.
A lot of the like, if you control a commander, do both, or if you control a commander, do X. Effects are quite strong in Commander, surprise. I don't think this one is too strong. It's nice. I imagine this is like I'm not looking at this and thinking, wow, that's super strong for 3 mana. I'm not looking at this and thinking, God, they want you to pay 3 whole mana for this. So I think it's well balanced. This would absolutely go in the Sephiroth if you're making a Sephiroth.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's fun. Make soldiers bigger.
Yep.
Make soldier, skull clamp soldier.
It was actually I was thinking of skull clamping soldiers as well.
I'm sorry, it's the sacrifice of the decks that I'm building. It's coming. it's seeping out.
It plays into everything. All right, a little break.
Do we have, before we go into break, do we have any final thoughts on Final Fantasy VII as a deck?
I think it all works better as a deck than 14 did.
Yes, definitely.
Look, I think 14 is great at pandering to the players. I think it's brilliant at that.
No,
but that's not what it's all about.
This one has some good flavor too, with all the 7s.
Oh yeah, no, like, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, I think they're all pandery, and I like that because it's Universes Beyond. I think they need to have that. But I think this works a little bit better altogether.
It's more than a little bit, but yeah.
This one, I haven't counted, obviously. This one feels to me like it has slightly more reprints. And especially the equipment base is quite reprint heavy.
Yeah.
I would maybe have liked to see more new equipments in here. Especially as like,
That's fair.
Like some of the reprints of like the stuff in here, like Clever Concealment, I think are really desperately needed reprints. but I don't think any of the equipment reprints really are like, oh, we've been gasping for that card for so long. Thank you so much for reprinting it.
Yeah,
And
that's
a lot
fair.
of them I'm kind of about in this deck anyway. I would have rather seen a new Final Fantasy card. Even if it wasn't like a great Final Fantasy card. Even if it was like a great card. I'd have rather seen a new one than a Champion's Helm that like... I mean, sure, it's got some nice looking art on it, but it's there for the deck, and it's not a card that we desperately needed.
Yeah, that's fair.
You'll trim it as soon as you upgrade the deck anyway. That's all the card.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. I am excited to get this deck though.
Have you got this one?
Well, so 10 has been bought and paid for me by Dizzy. 7 has been pre-ordered on Amazon, which means that it doesn't get paid for until it ships. So technically, I have it pre-ordered. If money is an issue coming up to time, I can cancel it at any time, and there will be no money paid.
Very, very sensible of you.
That's why I went straight to Amazon, because I knew Amazon pre-ordering things like that means that Amazon's going to sell out really quickly, because people are going to be like, oh, well, I want this, so I'm going to pre-order it even if I don't have the money, and I can think about it later. And Amazon sold out really quickly of everything. So I got in there with this singular deck.
Are you feeling like I'm really glad I pre-ordered this? Are you feeling what do you are you still thinking like
What are you feeling?
yeah has looking through it card by card changed how you feel about pre-order?
I don't think so. Like, I'm happy that I pre-ordered it. There is definitely like a lot of things that I'll probably want to change about it, but with the fact that I have also pre-ordered the starter kit that's only 16 quid.
Yeah.
That's a whole 120 extra cards that, you know, may work in it, may not work in it, but, you know, I currently only have just over 100 Magic cards in real life, so, you know, it'd be a thing that this would be, I will probably change things about this, but it'll take a while to change things about this.
Yeah.
But I'm still happy that it's probably coming my way.
So the I'm gonna get it up on my screen. So the starter kit includes Cloud, Planet's champion, who is also an equipment-based legendary creature.
Yes.
So I'm assuming that there will be other, like potentially plenty of other equipments in that starter deck. I'm assuming that equipment is going to be the Boros theme for the standard set. So there might well be plenty of other cards that we want to mix and match into this deck anyway.
And yeah, the other one is a different Sephiroth as far as I'm aware. That's what the starter kit. Well, yeah, see, like that's the thing. Like that's why I asked Izzy to get me 10 as a present, because I cannot and will not pass up on 10.
Yeah.
Like, even if the deck is shit, and even if it wasn't about counters and things like that, things that I like, and wasn't in colors I like, I want this deck. So, like, I don't care what my opinion of this deck in Magic is. I want it.
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean,
So,
I'm the same with the Doctor Who decks. Like even the Doctor Who decks that aren't wonderful, like the Paradox Power one, is not wonderful. As it turns out, it's got lots of cards that I would play with in other decks anyway. But like the deck in itself isn't wonderful, but I want it because it's Doctor Who.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, we could go through the Final Fantasy X deck and we go, yeah, it's whatever, but like, I'm still delighted I have it. So.
Alright, shall we breaky?
Yes, I might make myself a little sandwich, so I might be a bit longer this time. If that's alrighty with everyone. And then we can come back and have me go crazy over this deck.
I'm so ready.
Yeah, okay, right. See you guys soon then.
See you in a bit, guys.
See you in a bit. I'm gonna leave you guys with the Final Fantasy soundtrack that we are listening to. I think we are listening to the soundtrack from 7. Yes, we are currently on Costa del Sol from the Final Fantasy VII soundtrack. So you guys listen to that, and you enjoy, and I'll be back in a little bit. I guess there's a possibility I might be back a little bit before Shaka with the sandwiches. We'll see. We'll find out. But you guys go be good. Grab yourselves a drink. Grab yourselves food if you haven't already. Do any other refreshing and stretching and things that you'll need done. And we'll be back in a sec. Ta-ra! Alrighty. Hello, everyone. I am back. I am back from break. I'm assuming that Shaka, as mentioned, doing some sandwiches will be a little bit longer on break. But welcome in everybody who is still here or who's just arrived. I think we had a BG. Hey BG, sorry for leaving out on you just as you got in. Sandwiches were very, very necessary, very important. I'm gonna do a little undeafen, see if Hex is around. Hey there, Hex, you about?
I am about. Hello.
Ah, hello, hello, hello. Yeah, I'm assuming Shaq will be a little while yet, obviously. I'm kind of interested.
Some good food.
I'm kind of interested to actually compare this against the other Universes Beyond equipment deck. So I might, while we're waiting for Shaq to get back, I might see if I can very quick.
Hello, back.
Hello, never mind, ignore me.
What were you gonna do while you waited for me to get back?
I was gonna do a little comparison of this against the Fallout equipment deck, just to see if that was sort of similar in terms of like which equipments were in it, how much of the equipments were reprints, etc.
I mean, you can because I have food, so you can work away. I'll mute myself while you do that. If you work away and talk.
I'll do my best to be quick grabbing this deck list.
No, I'm really, really confused by the greaves rather than the boots.
Yeah, especially as they have put boots in the set. And it's not like the artwork couldn't have worked just as well for boots as it does for greaves. In fact, probably slightly better. What is this deck called? It's called Scrappy Survivors. There we go. Pop in here. Load in. This might take a hot moment.
So we don't normally go to Tesco for shopping, but we went to Tesco today for part of shopping, and they had a vegan version of pancetta called planchetta. Which I've made a toasty with smoked cheddar and planchetta.
Is it nice?
It sounds.
It's delicious.
Okay, so
I'm very happy.
BMOS Sledge they have in common. Explorer Scope I already knew they had in common. Champion's Helm they have in common. So this has Swiftfoot instead, which, as we were sort of commenting, I think is the superior choice. So they have 4 equipments in common, which is fine. And then the ones that I know are reprints. I'm pretty confident that that's a reprint. That's a reprint.
Fire Tree, I love that card.
Cola is a reprint. I'm assuming Masterwork of Ingenuity is, but I'll double check that. The ones that are definitely new, that's new, that's new, that's new, and that's new. And I'm not sure about Brass Knuckles.
I don't think Brass Knuckles is new. That's the you give it both and it gets double strike.
Yes. So that's a reprint as well.
I think.
Alright, so it's about the same density of reprints. And as for the new ones, so like what new ones did we get in this? Let's go have a little quick search of this. So Wrecking Ball Arm was new. Conformer Shuriken was new. Summoning Materia was new. Okay, one less new thing, I guess. I think the quality of reprints is probably about the same. Like I already said, I'm not really a huge fan of Darksteel Plate or Champion's Helm in the Cloud deck, but like I'm not super fussed by Brass Knuckles or Bloodforged Battle Axe in the Fallout one, so that's fine. I think the quality of the new cards might be slightly better. Like I'm unfussed by Junkie Jet. I'm unfussed by Pip-Boy.
Silver Shroud is obviously.
Silver Shroud is great. I use Silver Shroud a lot in decks. Pre-roll formal wear is fairly alright. Pre-roll formal wear is fairly solid.
I like the flavor text of pre-war formal wear, and I feel like in a deck with tons of ghouls, that would be hysterical.
I think all of these three new ones are really solid equipments. Like, I wouldn't necessarily use them all the time, but like granting vigilance and making a mana dork and giving card advantage is good for a card. This is a nice, fun catch-up card. And this, I wouldn't use it often, but like in this deck, certainly it's really nice. And the not being blocked by creatures with power 2 or less might be a really fun evasive ability in the right circumstances and in the right matchups.
Yes.
So yeah, these are all solid quality new cards. Whereas like 2 of these are good new cards, and these 2,
Whatever.
yeah, I think.
Oh,
Like,
hello, baby.
Fire Shrieker is great, but I don't know it would help that much in the Cloud deck. Basilisk Collar is a great card, but I don't know it would help much in the Cloud deck. Masterwork of Ingenuity, I mean, it helps as much as any of the other equipment does, because it's a copy of an equipment. So they probably are about on par. There's no one card.
I think Basilisk Collar, like the lifelink with it, like helps with stuff that Aerith cares about, really, and that's, you know, I think that's the only thing, but it would work with that.
That's true, yeah. But yeah, like, so there's no one card in here that I'm as excited about as there was about Silver Shroud costume, but like, not every deck can have one card that I want to put in my decks. So that's fine and understandable. You know, Silver Shroud costume is an outlier. So yeah, I think overall, actually, compared to the other equipment decks, and there's 4. Did we decide 4 cards that are overlap? Maybe 3 cards that are overlap? Yes, 3 cards that are overlap. So actually, even if you'd got the Fallout one already, you wouldn't look at this deck and think like, I've already got all of that. You've got some of it, because like there's other things in here, like I know Pure Steel Paladin. In here is Armory Automaton. No, Armory Automaton's not in there. So like, yeah, there's a couple of shared cards that are like equipment staples, but it's not like you'd have this and think there's no point in getting Clouds because it's all the same cards, which is what I was worried about before. So that's nice.
Yeah, even if you're an artifact enjoyer, it's not a.
There's also definitely stuff in here for those who are not artifact keen. I would be really interested to make a Sephiroth deck theoretically. Like really go wide weenies. I've never leaned fully into that archetype in the deck that I've made before. But like he's the standout card that I would build as a commander from this pile. Like this
Solid.
Final Fantasy VI, I'm actually interested in the face commander, Terra, as much as I am in most of the other things. Who are the other legendaries? There's at least one that I looked at was like, oh, that's fun. Setzer was one I would have been interested in, although I think he's going to be strong.
Setzer was good. But yeah, I think if I'd played 6 at all, like, I would have obviously looked at the deck, like, looked at Terra more whenever they announced the commanders, and I think she, if I'd played 6 at all, she would have been an immediate get that deck.
So, yeah, so those are the two that those two and Terra I looked at from some. I could see a world where I built those as decks. In this one, it's kind of more just Sephiroth that interests me personally.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, like if you love your Final Fantasy or if you just love Cloud, he's not a bad commander at all.
Yeah.
I also kind of part of me wonders
Mm-hmm.
if actually the way to build Cloud is to ignore the equipment bit and to just build him like +1 counters or anthems.
Uh-huh.
Oh no, I guess it's for each draw card for each equipped deck.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess maybe that's why there's all those equipments that don't trigger Clouds. Like they don't get Cloud at 7s because they're still equipments.
Yeah, and I
for
guess
your
you want to
other
have other creatures
Yeah.
equipped and attacking.
Maybe that even is the reason why the boots, the greaves are not the boots, because they're easy to snap onto something that isn't Cloud.
Yeah.
This is a possibility. That's always good secondary Voltron pieces in white as well.
Yeah. I don't know if there's any cards that produce like equipment tokens. I know there's ones that do roll tokens for us. I can't think of any equipment tokens off the top of my head. Actually, there's someone who makes like a rock token. I'll go do a little quickie Scryfall.
Rock token? Do you mean Roxanne and her meteors?
No, I think someone makes a token called Rock.
Yeah. I love that.
Togo, Goblin Weaponsmith. I'll put it up on the screen for people watching my stream. Whenever he's a red creature, so he would go in the deck. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, create a colorless equipment artifact token named Rock. With equipped creature has 1 tap sacrifice Rock. This creature deals 2 damage to any target and equip 1. So I put him in this deck because he makes lots of cheap artifacts and cheap equipments that you can spam onto as many
He's
other
hilarious.
I love the flavor of this card as well. He's a weaponsmith. What weapon does he give you? Rock.
Just rock. Give rock.
Uh-huh.
Throw rock. Yeah, beautiful.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if there's a Scryfall tag for specifically makes equipment tokens. That doesn't like
Dizzy, it has taken you 81 minutes to take your turn.
Oh wow, I've obviously been slacking. There we go.
Mhm.
Actually, this now highlights the deck that we're looking at as well.
That is true.
I'll put Tabletop Sim back in the foreground. So there are 6 equipment tokens that are like that have been printed by wizards. I don't know how many creatures make them necessarily. Blacksmith Talent makes a sword token, but only makes 1. Nahiri the Lithomancer can make 1 repeatedly, but it's on her ultimate. So it's you have to -10 her, and she starts with 3. So in practice, you're not getting lots of those out.
No.
And then 2 of them are legendary, because there's Crag Flame and Icing Death. 1 of them is the Rock. And then one is the Wasteland Survival Guide, which I think is also just made once by a Fallout card. Moira Brown. Yeah, when she enters, you make one. So you're only going to get one of those really. So there's not actually Togo is the only source really of like repeatable equipment tokens in Magic at the moment. If you really want to go wide.
Yeah, the image here is Torgo in the boots. Well, the Greaves stood next to Cloud, just handing him rocks as he throws these things.
Well, he's like distributing rocks to everyone.
Yeah.
It's not as funny if he hands it off to a random soldier, though. You know?
He's rocked up with his bag of rocks and he's passing them out. Or he invites Cloud into like his armory. Cloud's brought all of his little followers. It's like, all right, what do you got for us? And Toad just like opens his door. It's like, feast your eyes on this, and it's just lots of really like prominently displayed rocks. They're all like on weapon racks and stuff, but they're just stones of different shapes and sizes.
I enjoy it greatly.